Hello, everybody, and welcome to the third round of the Virtual Mini Challenge. We are live here from Cascavel to call all the action here for you. I'm joined here today by John Munro. I'm kind of doing the fill-in job for Scott Woodwiss. John, what are you looking forward to today?
Yeah, definitely, Keith. It's a pleasure to be here once again for the Virtual Mini Challenge. Of course, the third round of the season, and we are here at Cascavel, a circuit we visited last season, an event which was dominated by Robert Wiesenmuller. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. And all you need to do is look at the practice times, which I'm sure you'll see in a few minutes. But before that, why don't we have a quick look at the championship standings going into this round. And as you can see here, we've got Eric Strand leading the way on 112 points. He's had a fantastic start to the season, especially with that double win last time out at Jacarapagua. Second place is Chris Butcher for THR Red on 106 points, followed by season 2012 champion Peter Druivelar on 90. And Rasmus Salo is fourth on 82 points. Robert Wiesenmuller, also on 82 points, is languishing down in fifth place, the THR Red reigning champion. So, you could say you'll be a bit disappointed with that, but you'll be looking for a return on this race
One
today.
sec. I'm just going to blow this up here so the people can see a little better. My fault on the setup side of things. So just hold tight. This way we can get a little better view. So, and then you can also get into the team points there. So, back to you, John.
Yes, definitely. So as you can see there, Eric, Chris, Peter, Robert, and Rasmus is actually showing Robert ahead of Rasmus on that one, but they're on the same point, so of course doesn't matter. And the team standings is currently led by THR Red, and the drivers there are Robert Wiesenmuller and Chris Butcher. So those guys, of course, were champions last season, and they'll be looking for a repeat, followed by the hard-charging Young Ice Cold Racing team, which is headed by Eric Strane and Eric Tveit, who are first and sixth in the championship. And then, our newcomer, you could say, our newcomer to the top flight of the Touring Pro Series, Walk Racing. Keith, how have they impressed you so far?
Oh, very good. Nice team. It's they did a little bit of a shake-up in the drivers this season, but it should be interesting. I mean, THR obviously such a strong team. They've been for a long time. They've had a stranglehold on teams. It's for the past while, just with the major competition coming from Precision recently, who have now stepped down, and Ice Cold seem to have stepped up. Walk Racing now are just close in toes. So I think Walk Racing should impress here today.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, their team headed by Peter Druivelar and Ryan Callan, who are looking good at the moment. So why don't we, just before we jump into the action, take a look at the up-and-coming events in the Touring Pro Series. The next event...
Its next event will actually be, my apologies, next event I believe is Virtual Supertech Series.
Yep, Virtual Supertech's at Fuji Speedway, and that will be coming to you on Saturday, live from 6 PM GMT, so don't miss that one. Followed by, on Wednesday, round 3 of the Virtual Touring Masters Championship, which is currently led by Robert Wiesenmuller, and they will be running at the circuit of Cleveland for the first time in the Touring Pro Series. And that is followed by a week Saturday, the third round of the inaugural Virtual Carrera Cup. And it's currently headed by Diogo Silva for GT Competizione after a consistent round at Lebanon, dominated by a certain Tim Heinemann, who's really burst onto the scene. But that is then, and this is now. And you're about to see, as we jump into practice, Chris Butcher on a purple lap. He's been looking good through testing, and of course he was quite solid last year, but had a bit of a disaster when his monitor cable came out, so he will be looking to not have a repeat of that. Chris is definitely a man for the bad luck.
Well, I mean, it's funny that all the stories that we've heard across time over TPS, and I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't a story, but as soon as you mention, some bad luck, I think about Toby Davis at at Bathurst, where he said that his chair broke and he went into the wall. But no, unfortunate for Chris, but you can see he's close here right now, and this track is fairly simple in the way you would look at a track. Not a lot of turns, but still in these lower horsepowered cars, it makes for some good racing. See if we can catch Robert on a full lap here if he's going to complete this week and have an idea of what you can expect to see here today. He's pulling over. I think he's going to abort the lap or pull into the pits. Okay, so not quite. Okay, Alex is headed off, I believe, to start a lap. No, he's slowing down. And because of the nature of this track, people will be driving a little bit slower than usual. They'll be teaming up a little bit more than usual to use each other for qualification, and that's where good teamwork comes in. Now Alex is starting his lap. Here we should be able to give you a full view of what to expect here. Long first corner. It seems like it never ends, eh, John?
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the most difficult starts to a lap on the calendar. It's such a long flowing corner as part of a long flowing circuit, so it kind of summarizes the circuit well. And it's very, very tricky to get right. You can lose a lot of time, and you really do need to nail the exit because there's a big long straight into a sharp left-hander, which you saw, and then the right-hand hairpin, which Alex has just come round. Now he heads up the hill. There's a kink to the right, which is obviously completely flat out. Alex making his debut, I believe, in the VMC for THR. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does. He's clearly very good in practice. So here you can see a slightly off-cambered left-hander, which you stay in third gear. It gets slowed down nicely, but you can still stay in third through this left-hander, and the run out of here is absolutely vital. And a draft can make a massive difference here, Keith. As you can see, Alex being towed along there nicely by the car in front. Not sure who that is, but he is now down the back stretch, heading towards the final corner of the lap. And this is the left-hander. This is one of the very difficult corners on the track because it's so easy to run wide and hit those anti-cuts as the car in front does. I think that was which team is that?
I think he was getting a bit of a toe there. It looked like ice cold there. But you can see now, just to give you guys an idea of how close these cars are. The top 16 are within less than 4/10 of a second. That is 16 cars within 4/10 of a second. Now these cars are generally very, very close, but you can actually see that the top 6 are within less than 1/10 of a second. So you can imagine what kind of racing we're going to see here today, as we've now finished with open practice and we're now headed into qualification. So we will be with you in just a moment. Hold tight and we'll give you some more action.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we are back live here from Cascavel for the second round of the virtual mini challenge. Qualification, this has now just started. We've got 28 cars here competing. Eric Strani was the quickest in practice as he's lining up, headed out to get his warm-up, or his outlap done here before he starts his first lap of qualification. Any predictions, John, of who's going to get pole?
Well, I would have said Robert Wiesemüller going off last season's results. He took a double win and also a double pole position. He absolutely dominated, but I was speaking to him only just an hour ago, and he seems to be struggling to get close to his times from last year. So, very interesting situation. Of course, the cars and track haven't really changed, but the man who was fastest in practice is the man who's leading the championship, Eric Strana, who really did struggle at Cascavel last season. I'm just looking at the results from last season's race, and he really did struggle. I'm not quite sure where he ended up finishing. He had a podium in race 1, which was pretty good, and ended up down in 7th in race 2. So, not perfect, but definitely not too bad from the Swede. But as you can see, he's about to start his first qualification lap. So why don't we ride on board? Oh, sorry about that. Ride on board with Eric Strand. There we go. Starting his qualification lap. So heading into the long left-hand sweeper of turn 1. I think 4th gear is probably the gear most drivers will use through this corner, and you really do need to hit both apexes.
I think he's given his teammate a tow here, because I look back and you can clearly see that there's another ice cold car sitting behind him, just using that draft.
That was very intimidating for him, but of course I think these guys did actually use this tactic in Jacarapago, and it got them both, made them both lock out the front row. So maybe it's a tactic they planned, maybe it's not, but probably after Jacarapago they thought, okay, we need to definitely do this more often, because it was a fluke back then, but this time maybe it's more planned. As you can see, the first times coming in is Chris Butcher on a 14.239, followed by his teammate on a 14.415, and then Toby Davis for THR is 3rd in provisionally, who's just been passed by Rasmus Salo. But Eric Tveit actually is purple at the moment.
He's sitting purple, and that actually gives you a good indication. Where's Eric Tveit? So I think that's back 2. Yeah, look, you can see the toe. This is what I was talking about. He's got a good toe on the back of Strawn, and I think he was purple through the last sector. So let's see, can he take the pole?
Corner.
Eric Tveit's got a fantastic run, coming across the line, trying to take the pole away. Does it? 14 flat. Eric Tveit goes pole. What a lap from Eric Tveit. That's the fastest we've seen anybody go so far. And look, he's got such a draft, he runs right off the track and can't help his teammate.
Yeah, he'll be laughing after that because that was he managed to just get the clean lap right at the point where it counted. And Eric Strani, I think Tveit owes him a massive drink because that was fantastic teamwork. And he dragged him. He literally dragged him to pole position. But Strani's now purple in sector 1. Of course, he won't have the draft from Tveit because Tveit ran wide after he completed his lap. Reese Gardner's gone up to 4th position.
Oh, fantastic!
And he's a man who thought he was going to miss this event, but he's actually running on his old PC by the looks of things, and he's got up to 4th, and that's great for him.
That's fantastic.
I believe he's racing for Smile Power.
I believe so too. But it's great to see. Reese has had a lot of misfortune, and he's a good friend of mine from going years back. He was racing in ATCC in the very first season, and I know he's had some misfortune and been a little bit down about his sim racing. So he'll be very happy to have slotted into the 4th position here visually as we go on. Chris Butcher's gone purple in sector 1. He's 1 full tenth down on Eric Tveit. That blazer of a lap. Let's get on board with him. He's got the right draft. He's got his teammate in front of him, giving him the right amount of air brake. Chris Butcher's going to look to take this pole away. He took a double win at the first 2 races in the first round. Can he pull it off here again today? But he's looking for this pole right now. He's going uphill to the left. Got a nice toe. Oh, this is perfect teamwork here. This is perfect teamwork.
Down, it's very good, but he's a 10th down.
That's amazing. He lost 2 tenths in 1 sector. So that just shows the quality of lap that Eric Tveit had put together and the teamwork that him and Strana had worked together. And he is now I guess he looks like the ugly duckling at this point.
Look at Ethan Bass.
Ethan Bass up to 6th with a 14.4, but we did see the top 6 were at a 14.2, so I would expect to see this drop down as Chris Butcher cannot improve. He lost 4 tenths over the last 2 sectors, John.
Yeah, and Andrew Waring, as you can see there, pops up to 5th for his debut in the Virtual Minis for Airstream. Ethan Bass is purple in Sector 1.
What is going on here? Let's get on board with him and see. Who is he dragging with?
And he's got a teammate to pull him along. This could help. I mean, Ethan, not the man I was expecting to see. And look at Chris's first sector time as well. So obviously Tveit...
1.6, wow.
Yeah, Tveit's first sector obviously wasn't perfect, but Ethan Bass deserves some airtime after that stunning qualifying lap, puts him provisionally 7th, and he's gone purple in Sector 1. Let's just see
that looked
if
fairly
he can
clean.
maintain that.
Oh, doesn't drop a wheel. Oh,
he's got a big draft. He's lost quite a lot of time there, but
4 tenths he lost through there.
He's still a 10th up in his personal time, and that could jump him up to. Looks like that could put him up to 4th position on the second row if he can do a nice last lap. And
Butcher is
also
still purple. Yeah, I think Ethan's going to slot himself into probably very close to where he is at the moment, but I do see a lot of guys are going green and purple here at this point, and it is going to shuffle him down just a little bit. Salo's green, Allenson's green, Davis is green, so he remains in 7th, doesn't improve. Butcher's the man to watch right now, as it was purple in the final sector. He's coming up to cross the line. Can Chris Butcher take the pole? No. He doesn't even improve his time. So everyone seems to be struggling here in the last 2 sectors. But the one who's really suffered here and has helped his teammate is Eric Strana. He's back in 10th. It does not seem to be improving, and the qualification time is ticking away here.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Let's see if he's on a lap right now, because I did see he was purple a few seconds ago. And he does. This is exactly what I was about to say. He should be getting a toll by Tveit, because he definitely owes him one after the lap that put Tveit in pole position. So will this improve Eric? He's very scruffy through the last corner. I don't think that's going to help too much. Across the line, he's not going to improve, but he will have. I believe he'll get one more hot lap out of the tyres. So let's see if we can stay with him for a little bit. Maybe we can jump from the backwards view. That's not what I was looking to do. I was going to jump from the backwards view of Eric Tveit, but I don't believe. Oh, they are still running. So
they are still running.
Just do that.
He's got to get up there because Strani is in these points, so he needs to work a little bit harder to get this. And Tveit, he owes him his life at this point, because Eric Tveit. Actually, I'm going to call him Eric Squared. That's what we're going to call it. Eric Tveit is 2 tenths clear of Chris Butcher, who is 2nd in the championship standings.
Yeah, and Tveit's, I think, maybe going to have to get out of his way here. Let's see, Tveit needs to absolutely perfect this sector, or else it's going to ruin Strand's lap, and he does the thing in getting out of the way. So let's jump back quickly. If I went the wrong way there, sorry. Jump back to, where is he now? 12th. Go. So Eric Strand heading down towards the final corner. Rasmus Salo's gone up to 3rd for THR. That's a beautiful lap by him, and he will be delighted with that. Callan only down in 16th. I just saw him pop up there. But it's Eric Strand through the final corner.
He had done some fairly good laps. Chris Butcher's got purple, Wiesemuller purple, but Strana is not improving. He isn't even green at this point. So this is it's a little worrying, because we saw him top of the table as he went through. Oh, he slots in.
Speaking of that,
4th position. All right, I'm going to stop talking now.
I think the thing was, it was only a couple of tenths he needed to jump him up about 10 places, and it shows how close it is. I mean, obviously Tveit's absolutely perfected his first lap there with the draft, and it's put him so far ahead, but look how close the times behind that are. And that's who's that? Duarte Lopez up to 5th, 6th.
Oh, well
even.
done, Duarte. Yeah, you can see now people are starting to slot and get their the times that they were running, because we saw the top 6 after practice were within what was up. It was as high as 1:14.255 was the top 6, was the 6th place time. So a little slower here, but they haven't had all the, I guess they haven't had the time to run like they had in open practice. So.
Reese Muller's gone second for THR Red, so that's a good lap by him. Strani is also purple in the first sector. He's a 10th up on his own time in the second. So at the moment, that looks like it could maybe jump him up 1 position, possibly even 2. We'll have to wait and see if his last sector is any good. He does have a tow from Tveit, so that definitely should help, because on his fastest lap, of course, Keith, he didn't have a tow provisionally. So this could be a big jump, because we saw how good Eric Tveit's last sector was. It was sublime.
Oh.
So he's going to come around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Strand's going to cross the line. Will he improve from 5th? This is our championship leader. He's going to cross the line in just a second. Where will this put him?
Oh,
and he stays 5th. He's mucked up the last sector.
Reese Muller down to a 14.185. Butcher's still at a 14.2. They're going to get 1 more lap here, these guys, but I'm pretty sure his tires are going to be off from where they could be. But you never know. I mean, he's got this last lap. Tveit is in the right spot to give him a tow. Davis still on lap doing a hot lap, but he's 5/10ths down. Tveit. Strana is purple, but we've seen this time and time again where Sector 1, everyone seems to be purple. I mean, honestly, if Tveit had nailed the Sector 1, he could have been in the 13s, and that's just unbelievable.
Yep, just having a look further down the field to see if anyone, so you guys can see if any of your favourite drivers are slightly further down the field. You've got Cal in there in 17th. Aukerclinth I'd be expecting to jump up a little bit. He was extraordinary last season. Picked up a 7th position in the first race. And you can see some other names, as just speaking of Aukerclinth, jumps up to 17th, but still on a 14.5. So he's only a couple of tenths off the fastest guys. And he's down right near the back of the grid, and it shows you how competitive it is.
Oh, it's insane. Now, I just want to point out, too, that lap that Tveit has done is the fastest lap that has been set at this track. The fastest lap prior to that was by Chris Butcher at a 1:14.154. So taking it by 600ths of a second, Tveit takes the fastest lap ever here. Eric Strani does not improve. He's still in 5th with a .384.
And look at this. Of course, they're be thinking anything Ice Cold can do, we can do better. And Chris is down a very nice first sector. He's going to have a massive tow down the back straight. Looked a bit scruffy, but he's only 400ths of a second down on Eric Tveit, the THR driver. So Chris is going to have a lovely slipstream, as you can see from the beautiful helicopter camera.
Look at the air he's making up there, right up to the bumper.
Stunning to watch.
And he's going to get right on him into the braking zone. He's got to judge. And he just pulls off as he heads to the final corner. If it was me, I would probably want to leave a little more gap and have it for this final run down the straight, because that is exactly how Tveit did his time. See, and he did not improve. I think that teamwork-wise, the Eric Squared there did the exact thing he needed to do. They had just the right distance for all of the straights, and Tveit just nailed his lap, and he's taken this pole. Provisionally, we're still got a few guys, but I don't think anyone's taken him down.
Yep. So it's a beautiful lap by Eric Tveit. Stealing the pole position honours, it looks like, for race 1. But speaking of that, Toby Davis, I'm not sure if he's actually on a lap. Just showing Jonathan Aukerclinth, who jumped up to 7th there. But Toby Davis is showing him on a lap. I do believe the timer ran out just before he crossed the line, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to confirm that. We'll wait and see what he does, if he backs off or not. And I think that looked like he was backing off. I'm not sure.
I don't think so. We'll find out shortly. If he did miss the timer, we'll know. Yeah, and that is the sign of him missing the timer. So we're gonna get to the results from qualifying here. We're just into warm up now. We will be just a moment. We'll be right back.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we are back live from Cascavel for the 3rd round of the virtual mini challenge. We have now started warm-up. The drivers are just going to get out there, get a feel for what it's like to have the weight in the car. just so they can be a little more prepared for once the warm-up lap is done, which is where we will give you a rundown of where everyone qualified and give you a better view of what you can expect to see here for this for the third round. But predictions. Well, what are you thinking here, John, for who's going to take this race?
I'm probably going to say Eric Strana. I mean, he's down in, I believe it was 5th in qualifying, which isn't very good, but I do like to, if I can, try and pick someone who's more of an outsider, and Strana was so quick in practice. He maybe struggled here a bit last year, so that might have even motivated him more to practice race pace and see how he gets on. So I think he'll definitely be a dark horse. Of course, he is the championship leader. Robert Wiesemüller would be an obvious choice.
Well, I think you're going to run into a bit of team warfare here, because it seems at the draft, well, we saw from the helicopter cam how much of a difference it makes in pulling one or the other car around. So I'm going to say, because of the fact that THR have 2 in the top 5, well, top 4, I'm going to go with Wiesemüller for the win here.
And I couldn't really argue with that, to be honest, because Wiesemüller, of course, took a double win last season and is the reigning champion, so he definitely knows how to win a race. Just before we jump into the race session, I'm just going to show you the quick spotter guide for this round, so you can see what the cars look like, if that's going to work. So, yeah, there gives you an idea of what the kind of different drivers are using as their liveries, so you can spot them a bit easier, and I'll leave that up for just a few seconds. But yeah, of course, Robert Wiesemüller would be an obvious choice for the win. Chris Butcher, he had an unlucky last season. He could have won one of the races maybe, but as we said, had a bit of an unlucky disconnection. And he really is fighting for this championship. I was speaking to him before the Carrera race, and even though he was leading that one, he said, "Oh, I'm not too focused on the Carreras. I want to win the minis," because he felt realistically that was where his best chance lies. So at least it's good to see he's showing some form of motivation, especially for these minis which we're about to see. So he's going to be interesting, as you see Tveit doing a beautiful front-wheel drive drift. Not sure that's possible.
I do believe it. I think he's been told he's on camera.
That's probably what it is, showboating. Typical of Tveit. If you missed the Virtual Carrera Cup broadcast actually from Saturday, you'll see Tveit during race 2 having one of the most spectacular TPS crashes in history, and ran over about 1,000 virtual people on his way over, and when he rejoined the track, killed about 200 more, so it wasn't very good. And then managed to finish the race in a squash Porsche, so that was very interesting of Eric Tveit, and only Tveit would do that. And he's definitely a man who's shown so much pace over the years, you have to say, Keith, in various different series. He's beaten Jesper in the formerly known WTM mod in a Rover, which was unfancied by most drivers. You know, he's won mini races before. He's just so quick and never seems to be able to pull a full campaign together.
Well, and that's it. I mean, he is just... He's shown absolute spurts of greatness, and we just, you know, I mean, if he could put it together for a full season, he would be a very good champion, because he's got out and out pace. I mean, he was the Red Bull Gridsters champion, which, you know, he does get overlooked to some other guys from the Red Bull Trackmania challenges, but it's amazing. He can just hop into a car and be fast, and I've always liked watching Chris race. It's the consistency that is lacking there that will put it all together, and like you said, you know, it'll bring him to a championship. But seems to be so this season. I've found this season specifically, he's been seems more focused and more consistent than any of the seasons past. So this could be, you know, this could be the winter series. This could be the winter season of Butcher.
Yeah, definitely. And we were speaking of Tveit just a few minutes ago. One thing I should warn you of is he's had 3 disconnections, and I believe his past 3 races, or he managed to finish the second Carrera race, but the one before he had a disconnection. So he's definitely going to be, you know, really scared that that's going to happen again for this one. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's I love watching Eric Tveit race. There's no doubt. Everyone who's listened to me commentate knows that. It's exciting to watch him race, but you always are just in the back of your mind, what's going to happen to Eric? What's going to happen to Eric?
Yeah, definitely.
So we don't want to see that happen. I mean, he's here. He's qualified pole with the fastest lap we've ever seen at this track. So we want to see him have a good finish here and a good run. So we are now about to start up the warm-up lap, and we will give you a rundown of where everyone sits as they pool around the track here. They're going to do one slow lap pooling around, and then they will slot into their grid spots, and we will see the start of the first race from the third round here at Cascavel for the Virtual Mini Challenge.
Yep, so just before we start the formation lap, Keith, why don't you take us through the back end of the grid, and we'll go on board with Bonnet.
Well, I believe we are on board with Mr. Nick Hughes here, followed by, or just ahead would be Kel Stenbeck. Just ahead of him is going to be Kostas Kaludis, I'm going to go with. I've been butchering names since 2007. Matt Richards in 25th. 24th is going to be Ben Hackson. I have not met him. Adrichuch Razvan
I've been butchering that one since 2013.
All right, okay. Well, I do apologize, and everyone just understand it's not you particularly. I've been doing the bad names thing for a long time. Thomas Jensen in 22nd. Xavier de Carvalho in 21st. Ryan Callan, my TPS co-founder, is in 20th. Pedro Amaral in 19th. 18th is Jimmy Hughes. Next is Nico Schweinzer. Gonna go with that. 16th is Dan Allenson, and John's gonna call the next 15 for you.
Yep, so starting in 15th place for Smile Power is Louis Fernandez. Of course, a man who's shown much pace over the 2 seasons he's raced here. Ethan Bass is starting in 14th, we were very impressed with him in qualifying, with Reese Gardner, another man who impressed on his old computer, in 13th. Alexander Lauritsen for THR Blue is starting 12th, with Jonathan Ockerclint for Optimum in 11th. Andrew Waring for Airstream starts the top 10, with Duarte Lopez, some could say a surprise 9th position for the Portuguese outfit. Behind his teammate Miguel Neto, who is starting in 8th position. Toby Davis will be starting 7th, as Eric Tveit almost manages to spin many times there. Peter de Wevelar, our 2012 champion, starts 6th for Walk. Eric Strane, our current championship leader, is starting in 5th position. And then the front 2 rows, we've got THR's Blue Rasmus Salo, who will be looking for his best result so far in the minis. Chris Butcher will be starting 3rd, who will not be happy with anything but a win, I'm sure. Robert Wiesenmuller, our reigning champion, is 2nd, and on pole position, the ever flamboyant, ever exciting Eric Tveit. And we are about to go green here for round 3 at Cascavel, race 1.
Yeah, and Eric, that's the best way to put it, is flamboyant, or I don't know. Eric Tveit has all sorts of flair. It is just, it's excitement to watch. Still young, still up and coming. The red lights are now up. We're just waiting to see them go away as we're going to watch the start of the first race here. And away they go. Green, 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 green. Eric Tveit gets away clean. Robert Wiesenmuller in tow. Chris Butcher's going to get by his teammate, I believe, just before the first corner. Not quite sure if he's going to hold him off, but teammates do know how to race with each other. Butcher does slot into 2nd place. Tveit leading. Butcher 2nd. Wiesenmuller in 3rd. Salo up to 4th. Toby Davis up to 5th. Another good start for him. He seems to always be able to do that. But everyone seems to be a little clean here. Tveit away cleanly. No disconnects so far for the young lad.
Yep, not often we say that, but Tveit will be hoping to, he'll be hoping for anything but a disconnect in this race, and he currently leads it, which is the best place he can possibly be in. Chris Butcher is in 2nd for THR Red, ahead of his teammate Robert Wiesenmuller, but he's under pressure from Rasmus Salo. Eric Strana lurks in the background, and he was side by side with Toby Davis in turn 1, but manages to get it sorted out and in 5th position, while Toby dropped back to 7th. And as you can see, I'm not sure what THR Red are going to be saying. Will there be team orders from the start? Will they be being careful? I suspect they'd race fairly and cleanly, but they'd still give it a good old race, because that's what it's all about, of course. And it's already he's already starting to develop as a team thing here. We've got 3 THR cars in the middle of a nice cold sandwich, with Walk lurking in the background. So yeah, very clean lap 1. Praise to all the drivers there, but it's about to get a whole lot more exciting, I can assure you.
Well, this is a great clean first lap as Rasmus Salo's gone defensive. Rasmus Salo trying to hold off Eric Strachan, who was our quickest man in practice, just couldn't quite put it together in qualifying. He was able to help his teammate up front. But this is the type of racing you can expect. There's not a lot of quick moves because of the fact that these are lower horsepower cars. It's more of a kind of like a very synchronized ballet, if you would. And it's a terrible analogy, but these guys have to be very, very methodical in the moves they're going to make, because if you dive down the inside of someone, you need to know that you're going to make the pass, because if you don't, you're going to slow down to a point where you've got 3, 4, 5 guys that close up on you, and now you're under fire. So everything you do has to be very well planned out, and it's a very strategic game. It's like a long game of chess.
Yeah, definitely chess, but with a lot more contact, as we've seen so far this season, just to add to the excitement. But yeah, at the moment, we have Eric Tveit holding up very strong. It doesn't look like Chris Butcher's making a move just yet. He's 3/10 behind him, and he's followed very closely by his teammate there. Oh, Chris having a little look down the inside, just to make sure Eric knows he is ready for a move. And speaking of moves, he takes another look to the inside, jumps back into the slipstream. He knew he didn't have a good enough run, and turn 1, of course, isn't the best overtaking spot, although I'm sure that these guys will try and prove us wrong at pretty much every single corner. Heading into turn 1, he gets the brakes nicely, gets a bit sideways, and Tveit's going to run a bit wide, but he's going to get a better exit than Chris Butcher, of course, as we now go on board with the Englishman. And yeah, he's managing to stay right with Tveit, so Tveit's definitely not running away with anything here, and Chris is keeping him under serious pressure, but still
Tveit's a little loose. No, but see, this is the kind of stuff you're going to see. I mean, it's not going to be You're not going to see any darty moves. It's going to be planned, waiting, waiting, waiting. Chris is in a good spot because if you look back, excuse me, if you look back from the back of Chris Butcher's car, the Touring Pro Series wing, he knows that he's got a little bit of a buffer between him and Rasmus Salo. That's his teammate right there. So anything that he's planning is he just takes a little bit of curb. Now watch, Tveit should get the run off the corner, but this is what works in Chris's favor because now there's a gap which he will close as the draft starts to pick up here. But he's not going to be far enough. He's going to need to leave that gap, just trying to make him think that he's going to make a move. So you're going to see quite a bit of this. It's a very synchronized dance that these guys are doing. But Tveit knows how to lead a race. He knows how to race, but he just needs to figure out how to keep his connection solid.
Yep, and Eric Tveit's teammate Eric Strand sets the fastest lap of the race so far on a 14.3. I'm just going to jump back to that battle there because he looks like he's really putting Rasmus Salo under pressure at the moment. There seems to be a 5-car train at the front, and there goes Chris Butcher down the inside of Eric. He looked on the exit of turn 1, but he's not going to make it this time. Eric's wise to the move and knows how to defend a position. Oh, they get really tight there, and if anyone loses the back end through that corner, that hill you can see in your background, there will be a few minis end up there because trust me, many people have done that in practice. I've done it before in my few laps I've raced here, and it's very easy to do. So the guys need to keep the weight pretty heavy on the rear end. They can't afford to go too fast into the corner. And now he's down the inside. No, he does well to avoid contact, but doesn't quite make the move. Eric Tveit runs wide on exit, but he's going to have an easy defensive move on the second corner of this left-hand section. Now we head down the back stretch. Let's see if any drafts can make a difference. Ben Hackson's in the pits, which is a shame for him. But meanwhile, at the front, it doesn't look like anyone's looking like making a move at the moment. Chris might duck out again to let him know he's there, but he decides to thinks better of it this time and stays in the slipstream as long as possible. Clips the curb on the inside beautifully, and he's going to get a good exit. Make sure you avoid those anti-cuts on the outside. And we start the lap 5 out of 20, so we're already a quarter of the way through. And it looks like Tveit's doing a great job so far. Is this going to be a move? Andrew Waring sets the fastest lap for Airstream, and that's a 14.2 in race trim, which is very impressive.
Where did that come from?
Tveit runs wide, and Butcher just got a little bit sideways there on the inside, Keith. He tried to take too much apex, it looked like, and just maybe carried a bit too much corner speed. Lost the back end ever so slightly, and it affected his run through this section.
Well, this has been exciting so far, but this is the kind of racing you can expect from the minis. As you look back, it looks like there was a bit of contact. Oh, excuse me, I went the wrong way. There was a bit of contact between Salo and Strani, which allowed them to break. They're breaking off a little bit, but now this puts them heavy under attack from Toby Davis. Toby Davis down the inside of Strawn. Little contact, use a little curve, but Strawn's stuck on the outside. He goes a little wide, and that's going to send him off. It's going to be pushed back. Eric Strawn gets a little nudge back on Toby Davis. Squeezes back through. Strawn is through. This is a little bit of tough stuff here. So this is now Strawn. He's probably not happy seeing as quick as he had in practice. He's feeling he should be up a little further. So this puts now Strawn back into 5th ahead of Davis, and now it's putting him in chase of Salo now as Salo's broken away. As Strawn runs wide over the cuts. Davis down to the inside. He's got Peter Duivelar in tow. Strawn might lose 2 spots here. Duivelar looking to make it 3 wide. Turn 1. He's going to do it. He's sideways. No, not going to do it. Toby Davis
has lost it.
Davis is wide. Davis is wide. He's gone off. Toby Davis, through all of that hard work, loses, goes back to 10th position as Waring, Lawrence, and Nato and Duivelar get ahead of Davis, who has now got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, just going to see if we can take a... Sorry, I went into replay there, but it's fine because... Yeah, there you can see it there. I think Toby just lost the back end under braking. It's easy to do. He was under so much pressure from the guys behind. I don't think there was contact, and no, there wasn't. Maybe he just clipped the curb on the way in and it unsettled the car.
Yeah, I do think he caught the curb under braking. As you can see, no, he didn't.
Just about, but
no, he just a little
turned
too
in
hot.
Too much.
It's a little too hot, sent him wide, and it's unfortunate for him. But that's what happens. You carry a little bit extra speed you weren't expecting. No, look at it. Oh, look at go ahead. Derek Tveit under heavy fire as the 2 THR drivers are trying to squeeze by, and Rasmus Salos must be loving this. He's in the THR blue, and so it is a THR. Well, it looks like a gang beating here almost.
Yeah, definitely a repeat of what we had last year. Chris Butcher runs very wide, but Tveit's not at the best of exit either. I doubt Chris will be able to make the move there because he did seem to gain a bit of speed by running too wide. But what we saw there a few laps ago, it looked like Strand wasn't going to give in to Davis. When Davis went down the inside, made a bit of unnecessary contact in the side of his car as Rasmus slides through turn 1. But yeah, there was slightly unnecessary contact between the two of them, and Strandy says, well, if you're going to do that to me, I'm going to cut back and I'm going to use your door as well. So a bit of bargee from both drivers, so they can't really complain about each other there. But it hasn't paid off for Toby Davis in the end, of course, sliding off at turn 1. Yeah, it was turn 1, and actually Andrew Waring's just passed Alexander Lauritsen for 8th position, but this is where the important battle is at the moment, and it's Ice Cold versus THR once again. Oh, he's gone to the inside, he just pulled out there. That's a beautiful dummy move if he can make it work. And once again, Tveit just manages to cut him off beautifully. Butcher's going to make it down the inside this time. Will he have the line?
Oh, he's through!
It looks like he does. Tveit's left him a lot of space, and it's paid dividends for Butcher. A fantastic move, and he's going to now help his teammate through. He needs to pull out to give his teammate a draft as he does so, and that's teamwork right there. And maybe Robert's going to have a look for the lead now, but this is what Mini's all about right here. You can see they're almost going about 25 wide into the final turn, and they somehow managed to make everything stick and no one crashes so far.
Yeah, that was fantastic stuff there. Let's just have a quick look. I want to see exactly how Butcher managed to pull this off, because it was very well executed. He got up the inside, which sent him
yeah, Tveit had to go in deep.
Sent Tveit just a little. Oh, sorry, one sec. It sent Tveit off just a little off his line, so he's a little offline. He can't quite get the power down. Butcher's able to get overlap, get inside, ease the car down on the apex, and then now he just squeezes on by, and this allows him to push on to the lead. So very well executed from Chris Butcher, very scientific, that move. So well done to Chris to take the lead away from Erik Tveit. But now look at what has happened from him allowing this to happen. Look in the background of what we're seeing here. We see now the entire group has bunched up significantly, and this is going to make for some really interesting the second half of this race.
Oh, that's a big hit there. Tveit's gone miles wide. Wiesenmuller did seem to give him a big nudge there. Let's see if Tveit is angry about that. I think we'll find out by the next corner if he is, but I think he should be okay. I can't quite judge that one. It looked like there was a bit more, Tveit's car went a bit wider than the contact should have made it. It was a bit of a strange incident there, and Salo's now looking to capitalise.
Just going to have a quick look. Let's see if we can see what we get on board here. And that is definite contact, which double
it's the
contact.
second contact.
I'm going to say it's just more of a Tveit goes wide. This is where Butcher made the pass, but Tveit is setting up for the corner, and he's just not going to make that turn at the angle that car's in, because it is almost a 90-degree corner, and he is not at the right angle.
Yeah, Wiesenmuller had the right to be there. He made the move cleanly to get down the inside, so Tveit really did need to give way to that one, but it's ended up costing him match and speed. Oh, that's Erik Strandy. That's our championship leader. We'll see if we can catch up with him. And there he is running wide. Oh, that's a disaster for the Swedish ice cold driver. He's down to 11th place now. And that's elevated everyone up a bit. Miguel Neto up to 6th, Andrew Waring in 7th, Lauritsen in 8th. Let's take another replay. There's just so much happening at the moment. So it was what I was talking about. His car got light over the corner. Actually, no, it wasn't. It was a nudge from the ice cold man of Rasmus Salo.
Let's have a quick look here. The THR blue driver. Let's have a look.
Yeah, sorry, that's what. Yeah, it was a big nudge.
It's just a nudge. He had to look down the inside and just a little too close for comfort, which has pushed our championship leader way back in the standings. Åkerklint up to 10th. Åkerklint is taking advantage of all of this, and actually.
Oh, look at this!
Oh, look, get up front here. What do we got going on here? 3 wide down to the turn 1. Andrew Waring is in the middle of this sandwich. Andrew Waring's following through with Miguel Nato. Miguel Nato up to 4th place. Peter Duivelar in tow. Miguel Nato having a stellar run here, pushing his way through, but now you've got...
Salo's leaning on Duivelar as well.
Oh, look at this. This is fantastic stuff. This is mini racing at its best.
This is what
Duivelar looking down the inside, not going to do it. Andrew Waring on the back of Miguel Nato. Miguel Nato runs a little bit wide. Waring down to the inside. A little bit of contact. He's being pushed by Duivelar. He's saying, let's make a move. Now. Go. Nato is holding off this massive train. Let's have a look back from what he's seeing. This is exactly what's going on in the back of Nato's mirror. Nato, Duivelar down to the inside. Waring not going to do it. Use a little bit of curve. That's where we saw the incident between Tveit and Wiesenmuller a little earlier. But this is great stuff.
Yeah, and it looks like the front group have peeled away and just thinking slightly. Wait, what's that? Is that Tveit's connection?
Oh,
I
no!
do not. I told you this would happen. I cannot believe this.
Oh, that is just heartbreaking.
Words cannot describe. And I said it would happen. I didn't believe my own words, and I may have cursed him, but as I said, it's been happening so regularly recently, and he will be absolutely gutted by that, and I feel so bad for him. But it does mean that this battle has been elevated to third place. Actually, is it showing Tveit still?
No,
he's
he is
jogging
gone.
back. No, that's just heartbreaking for him, and it's just so unfortunate. He definitely needs to take a look at it, because
I have a
that is now
feeling-
4 in the last 5 races.
I have a feeling that we should put together a let's get Eric Tveit a new net connection fund, because it is brutal to watch. He's contact.
Speaking of
Wearing
brutal.
into the back of NATO. Dweevelar's going to get a run on Waring here, as he just got into the back of NATO. Not quite, chops him off a little bit. And yeah, I mean, Tveit might break the record for most DNSs. Peter Dweevelar down the inside. No, we're not going to do it. See, that it's a late move that has to be done there, it seems. And as you go uphill, you're going to really need to force the guy into a bit of a mistake as we get to the helicam here. NATO leading this pack with Waring just close in tow, as we'll see here. These guys are real close. Rasmus Salo followed by Toby Davis. Davis giving him a push down this straightaway here. This is where we saw Davis go wide earlier. Fantastic stuff here.
But they're both going wide again. I'm not sure if they'll get away with that too many laps, but yeah, somehow managed to keep up with the guys. That might actually help them in terms of speed. But yeah, all this trouble for Eric Tveit means that Andrew Waring is looking at potentially the first podium in TPS in the first division for Aerostream, and Miguel Neto will be looking to take his first podium in a long time in the Touring Pro Series. And his first in the Virtual Mini Challenge, so it's opened up quite a few opportunities. It's also meant Jonathan Ockerclint's in the top 10. Dweevelar's in 5th. He hasn't been able to capitalise as much as some would have predicted he would in the current scenario. But this means that the two teammates, THR Red, if we just jump ahead to them for a second, and even they're having a good battle, but they might as well, because they've got 4 seconds back. There's no ice cold car to think about anymore, because of course Strana had the problems earlier on when he was pushed wide by Salo, and Tveit's lost connection. So for them, it's just a walk in the park, and it's quite fitting that the number 1 and 2 cars should be, 1 and 2 in the race, leading by a long way, driving.
Oh yeah,
right behind each other.
they're in sync right now, and they're working together. That is the battle for the win up front, unless something happens. These guys here, this is going to be the battle that we're going to see for the next few laps leading up to the final 2, probably before Butcher and Lisa Mueller do attempt to pass each other. But Waring looking to score, like you said, it's for the first top 3 for Airstream. And also, I think that would be Waring's second top 3 of his career, I believe, here at TPS.
Yeah,
so he's got one direction, and that's just going forward. Should get his theme music ready.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And you couldn't get any closer to this. And I know Andrew from racing go-karts in real life. He actually doesn't live far from me. And the racing that this reminds us of is what both him and I started out as, and that's called 4-cycle kart racing. And it's literally nose to tail, slower horsepower cars, and it's all precision stuff. You have to plan and everything, because momentum is key. And he's showing that is that those skills that he picked up there are definitely paying off.
Yeah, definitely. The momentum really does take you in one direction very fast. And Dweevelar for Walk Racing, his teammates actually, speaking of Walk, might as well take a wee look down the order just to see where everyone's sitting. And 17th is Rhys Gardner, just been overtaken by Ryan Callan, so if we can actually, I'll just jump back to there very quickly. There you can see the battle for 17th position. Ryan having a disappointing race, which is a shame because he was so competitive at Jacarapagua, but definitely not in his teammates' pace for this race. Rhys Gardner in 18th after a strong qualifying. Xavier De Carvalho is running in 19th, and Matt Richards rounds off the top 20. And I know Matt has been struggling with pedal issues, so he's borrowed, he's probably nicked his Ben Richards pedals for this event, because Ben, of course, is away at work, and it's working wonders for him. He was saying he was delighted that it's working again, so that's good to see. Richards Razvan, sorry about the pronunciation, as usual, in 21st. Nick Hughes 22nd. Duarte Lopez is 23rd, with Kostas Kaludis in 24th. Shell Stenbeck 25th, and Louis Fernandez at the back of the grid.
And our two DNFs, Eric Tveit and Ben Hackison. Eric Tveit is I think he's going for a record at TPS, the most DNFs while in contention.
Oh, it's not going to help his yellow ranking, and it's such a shame because, of course, the ranking is one thing. Drivers, I'm sure they'll like to be as high up in the ranking as possible. It's a good symbol of where you stand in the Touring Pro Series. And Eric does all this good job in qualifying to get pole position, leads the race from the start, and then has so many DNFs that he's going to lose so much points on that system, which is a real shame for him. And it's all just because of connection issue, which is. Of course, you can't really blame anyone but him because it's his connection that he needs to sort. But on the other hand, it's just so unlucky for him.
It is. It's very unfortunate. I mean, but these guys are reaping the benefits here. They're now got a nice gap. Butcher lead and Wiesemuller second. NATO. Oh, look at this behind him. Something must have happened because Andrew Waring is now back to 6th. Peter Duivelar up to 4th. Down the inside is Rasmus Salo into turn 1 on Peter Duivelar for 4th. Rasmus Salo still inside. Booking. I think he's done it. So Rasmus Salo has taken the 4th position. Duivelar's going wide. Toby Davis gives him a little nudge. Duivelar having a squeeze back on the track. He's now at the back of this group. Lawrenson fine. Lawrenson is back into the fray here now. Back to 9th from 4th. That is what I'm talking about right
big contact between Duivelar and Lawrenson. A bit of a nice combination there. But as you can see there, Duivelar got pushed a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1. Probably cost him, no more than 3 or 4 tenths of a second. But in this race, it's cost him about 5 positions because even though the front 2 are away from everyone, 3rd position to I think about 9th position are separated by less than 2 seconds. So it's just ridiculous, and it's what minis is all about.
Oh, this kind of pack racing here is fantastic, but I think that Wiesemuller's pace has dropped off a fair bit. If these guys keep pushing, like NATO is now, he seems to be on a bit of a charge. He might actually close up to Wiesemuller and look to contend for that second spot, but he's got quite a ways to go. But I have a feeling we're going to see this battle rage on right until the end of this.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if one of those drivers wasn't laughing at the moment because, when you're having fun in sim racing, I know the feeling when you just have such a good race that you just can't stop laughing, and it makes it kind of difficult to concentrate sometimes.
Laughing?
Maybe why you're seeing a bit of contact.
I'm usually dripping,
crying.
My hands are in a claw position because I've gripped the wheel so far. The leather on my G25 is gone from my hands.
Well, I think in TouringProSeries it's so intense that that may be more the case than laughing. Maybe it just depends who you are. If you're a bit weird, like me.
I know. I am a bit weird.
Yeah, this really is a great train. I love watching this kind of racing, and this is what you get every second week from the Virtual Mini Challenge. It's just stunning to watch. And of course you can watch all the previous rounds if you missed them on YouTube. But this is of course the current round, and it's the one you want to watch right now because it is live. Toby Davis is holding on to 5th position. He almost gets a bit of a nudge there by Waring, who will be delighted with his form at the moment. He's had so many disappointing races recently in the TPS. He's been inactive because he's been busy with real-life commitments. Also, if you remember, had that massive crash that was actually shown on American news channels in his racing series. I believe it was Formula V. Don't quote me on that one, but on his return to the TouringProSeries, he's had a few dodgy results and a lot of bad luck. But joined Airstream along with myself and Chris Dark after the demise of Precision, and he's doing a good job so far in the minis.
Yeah, Waring's a good guy. Just now the winter's here, he's got a bit more time, so hopefully we can see the Canuck fly his way up. Oh,
he's
as
wide,
we say that, Andrew Waring goes wide.
Don't curse him.
He's going to lose a spot to Strani. He's going to commentator's curse, and Waring holds on the outside with the momentum there, and that's what we were talking about. Momentum is everything.
Yeah.
But I was talking about Wiesemuller losing to NATO. He is now within 3 seconds. He's gained half a second in 2 sectors, so that is a potential. But we only have a few laps to go, as Toby Davis is trying to find a way by Rasmus Salo. Teammates here, but of different color. THR blue and THR yellow. Salo is under heavy fire. From Toby Davis.
Look how much time he gained there under braking. I thought he was going to plough straight into the back of him, but manages to keep it on track and actually makes up the time. But yeah, this is a great battle going on for 4th position. At the moment, we've actually got 4 THR cars in the top 5, which is very impressive. Miguel Nato, we probably should give slightly more mention to, running out on his own. He's managed to, loosen the stranglehold with this train behind him, and he's just out of there, and he is never returning to that battle because he probably wouldn't manage to make out of it alive. But all these guys are so far, actually. It's been amazingly clean considering how many cars are separated by probably about 1 car's length. And you can see there Davis now having to defend from Waring.
Waring down
Strana was looking down the inside as well. He needs to make up positions because he's leading the championship. And of course his biggest rivals, Chris Butcher and Robert Wiesemuller, are absolutely gone in 1st and 2nd place. And was that Auckland running really wide?
Auckland's gone wide.
Yeah,
it is. He was running the top. He was holding on to that train in the top 10.
Pack.
Well, and also if you notice, Rasmus Salo is slightly breaking his way from this pack, just ever so slightly. He seems to be just kind of. You got 4 tenths at the moment. If he could pull away, be good.
Yep, and this battle is now becoming a battle for, well, it was 4th position, looking possibly more like 5th position at the moment, and that's a shame for Auckland because, he would have been fighting for a top 5, and I believe that would be his first Division 1 top 5 in the TPS if he could have got it, but it looks a bit unlikely now, down in 10th position, and he has dropped the train, but you never know, we could see a multi-car crash.
He's closed up, because you can actually see how much that the battling is affecting, because he's just able to pull back up in tow, and it just
he's on
shows.
His way.
It shows the difference. And, anything can happen. You never know. You might have a guy drop a wheel, spin in front of the pack. You just never know what could happen. So you always keep pushing for those inches, because the inches could make the difference between a 10th and a 5th at the end of a long race like this. But Strani is trying to look down the inside. Everyone's kind of got stuck into a line of stern here as Strani is following Andrew Waring. Waring running a little bit wide. Strawn's got to run. He's not going to be able to utilize. Oh, he's down the inside. As I say again, he's down the inside of Andrew Waring. Strani looking to go by Waring here for 6th position. Sideways, little bit of contact. Waring holding him tight. Waring's got the inside. Strawn is not going to be able to cross over there. The corner's a little too long.
Yeah, that's not the place you want to be making contact going in there, because it's one of the most difficult entries to a corner. You could say, definitely on the calendar, because it's one of these corners where if you're trying to make a move there, just driving with nobody else around is hard enough not to have a massive crash up the hill. So to do it with other cars around you, especially when they're making contact, is no mean feat. So that's well done to those two for keeping it clean enough there. Strawn continues in 7th place. Orklinth runs wide again. I don't think he's only got 1 lap left to catch these guys at front.
No, I think
something's happened to Robert Wiesemüller as well. I think
he
I
think he's pushed off. He's eased off on the pace. I don't think he has the out-and-out pace that Butcher does. So I think he's just eased off. We've got the final lap starting here. Chris Butcher is well in command of this race, and basically his to lose. We got Robert Wiesemüller, his teammate, sitting in 2nd place. But this is the battle here. We're going to need to give due to Chris when the time comes. So I'll tell you when to hop over to him.
Contact! Oh, sideways again. Lauritsen gets into him as we just take a look back at the drivers further down the field. But we need to focus on the front. And yeah, Strawn and Dweevalar made a bit of contact there, and that was dodgy stuff. Dweevalar managed to keep it underway and on position, but it means that the two of them have lost touch with Waring, Davis, and Sallow in front.
Yeah, so we're going to have to hop on board with Chris here just to give him his due. Chris is coming around to complete the final few corners. We'll get on board with Chris here, as Chris has done a fantastic job here at Cascavel. He has managed to fight off Eric Tveit, who unfortunately disconnected once again. That would be his, I think that's his 4th disconnect in 5 races.
Yes, 4th and 5.
That is unbelievable. In every race he has been fast and in contention, but Chris Butcher is the man who has managed to keep it all together, not have any issues, and pull off another race win. His 3rd race win here in the virtual mini challenge. Chris Butcher crosses the line in 1st place, followed by Robert Wiesemüller, but this battle rages on right to the end of the line. These guys are side by side. Miguel Nato taking a top 3, Rasmus Sallow in 4th, Toby Davis in 5th, Waring in 6th, Dweevalar in 7th, Lawrence in 8th, Strane 9th, Ockercliffe in 10th, Nico Schweitzer in 11th, Ethan Bass in 12th, Jimmy Hughes in 13th, Dan Allenson in 14th, Thomas Jensen in 15th, Pedro Amaral 16th, Ryan Callan disappointing 17th, Xavier de Carvalho in 18th, Reese Gardner 19th, Matt Richards rounds out the top 20. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back with you guys. We have qualifying for the 2nd race, so don't go anywhere. We've got, if you enjoyed that, we've got more of that coming up, so hold tight, we'll be right back.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And as you can see, this background screen is showing you all the ways you can get involved in the Touring Pro Series. We've just seen a stunning race won at Cascavel, and there's more of that to come in a few minutes. But in the meantime, here are the ways you can get involved with the Touring Pro Series. Head to TouringProSeries.com for the latest news and access to all the forums, so where you can sign up to race. It's very easy to do. And yeah, it's very simple. So just head over to TouringProSeries.com for all that information, and also season calendars, etc. Go to the Facebook page at facebook.com/TouringProSeries for more updates, and whenever there's a live broadcast on, I'm sure you'll be aware of it there. Yeah, give them a follow on Twitter at twitter.com/Touring_Pro. I believe I got that right. It's quite difficult to see. And if you want to catch up on any previous broadcasts or highlights videos, head over to youtube.com/TouringProSeries, where I think Danny Asbury is actually doing a current series which is called the TPS Debrief, which is very good analysis into all the different championships we've got going. So why don't, Keith, we have a look at the up-and-coming events in the Touring Pro Series?
Definitely. The next event coming up is a virtual Super Tech Series that'll be taking place this Saturday. The following event for that will be commentating on the Virtual Touring Masters, which will be on Wednesday of this week coming.
I'll try not to crash.
Yeah, yeah. We need to see it get a good finish. Virtual Carrera Cup, which has been fantastic so far, sponsored by GamePod. You definitely want to check that out. That'll be a week Saturday, so you don't want to miss. There's always action. It seems that we always seem to have something going on here. We're in the winter series right now. If you're just trying to stay in from the cold and just need some good quality entertainment, we have racing pretty well every 3 or 4 days, it looks like. So Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesday, Saturday. But we are now ready to start our second race here for today. We actually have now completed 5 races of this series over the 3 rounds. We've had a double winner at the first round, double winner at the second round. Can Chris Butcher make it the third round a double win as well? He took a double win at the first round. What are your thoughts, John? What do you think is going to play out here?
Yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a habit in these minis. Taking double wins is something we do see quite often. You have to say all the front-wheel drive series across the Touring Pro Series. We saw the Tom Local Clio Series. I believe the first 4 or 5 rounds were all double winners, so that's very good. Just to say, when Keith said Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, what he meant was Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday,
yes,
Wednesday,
yes,
Saturday. Just to confirm with anyone there who misunderstood. But this Tuesday is the Virtual Mini Challenge, which is what you've just watched and what you're about to see. And yeah, Chris Butcher, I mean, it's a real shame for Eric Tveit. He was leading the race from pole position, stunning qualifying, great defensive work, and it just didn't quite pay off for him in the end, and that's really going to hurt his championship, because he was sitting down in 6th in the championship standings, and now he's just going to drop so much further back. Chris Butcher should move to the top of the standings thanks to that victory in race 1, and he'll be looking for the double. Although Eric Tveit now has a point to prove. I'm not sure if his connection will agree with him on there, but he definitely wants to finish a race, and he's got to be one of the favourites for this one.
Well, I just put the guide up here, so if anyone just want to have a look at the skins of the cars and the drivers, you can also click on that. If you're on the broadcast page, just above the broadcast is a click to the guide, and that will link you to that as well. Also, it's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/TouringProSeries. We're going to be headed into qualifying here in 19 seconds. And this will now be our second qualifying for this for the second race. So we will be with you in just a moment to give you that qualifying. We saw a fantastic pole lap, though, John, from Eric Tveit. We were not expecting to see what we saw there. And I think we'll see the same again. We're going to see some teamwork out there, and I think it is, especially in these minis, it is the team that can work the best together and provide the best draft. And not even just teams, but if you get out there, excuse me, on a lap where you've got a guy in front and someone to chase down, if you can time it just perfect, you can easily steal a pole from these bigger teams.
Yeah, and when you've got a teammate, it's always a helpful thing to have, because they proved it THR and Ice Cold in the first qualifying session. But if you're one of these guys that either running as independent or maybe running in a slightly lower end team, and you want to try and nick a draft from someone else that you can find on the road, that's definitely a good way of going about it. The guys who are fast but maybe don't have another teammate right up there. Andrew Waring doesn't have his teammates right up there. Matt's a bit further down the grid in the mini challenge. Also the likes of Dweevalar this event. Ryan's not been quite on form as he has been so far this season. So guys like this, Jonathan Ockerclinth, also maybe looking to nab a draft from another driver. Just speaking of independence, actually, one man who's missing this round, who was very quick at the start of the season, is George Talbot. So might as well go through the absences. We're missing Ben Richards, David Nannon for Smile Power. Luke Herring is also missing this one. as is Scott Sovic.
Yeah,
for
Ben
Airstream.
Richards couldn't make it because his brother stole his pedals.
Well, that might be what he says, but I think, yeah, I think he's working late today, which is a real shame. So that's 2 Airstream cars missing with Scott Sovic as well. Lewis McGlade for Smile Power, George Talbot, as I said, and the second THR yellow car of Thomas Matazowski, who was very quick at Cascavel last season. I seem to remember he was right up there. So that's a shame for him. And that is the absences. But it's about the guys who are here at the moment. And as you can see here, Chris Butcher, a terrible start to the lap. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that one. It might actually gain him some time, but it might be a bit unfair if it does. He just ran very wide on the exit. We'll see how it goes through the first sector, but of course he'll have a lot more opportunities to improve on his time. One thing I was picking up on in race 1, there's quite a fair number of drivers using the anti-cut on the exit of the final turn, running wide. Maybe it's contact, maybe it's just pushing too hard, and the draft maybe catching people by surprise, but they're running very wide at the final turn, and people really need to be wary of that because it could cause a penalty in the long term, and that's going to have an effect on your championship standings, and maybe it's not going to be worth pushing as hard if you're going to receive a big penalty.
No,
man who knows a lot about penalties sitting on -40 right now in the championship standings, who I'm sure you'll be aware of.
Yeah, well, and the getting outside the track boundaries, I can attest to because I was actually removed from my very own championship for getting outside the track boundaries, and
Easily done.
It's easily done. And so if one of the founders of Touring Pro Series can be removed from his series, you just got to stay within the boundaries. You just have to. It's I do know racing is always on the edge, but there are rules there in place, and they just have to be followed. So we're going to see Chris Butcher take the, I would say, provisional pole from this lap because he's closed quite a bit on Wiese Mueller. Chris Butcher crossing the line. We're going to look to see a 1:14.4. So a nice banker lap. Wiese Mueller to a 14.6. We're going to see people slot in. We saw 14.0 from Eric Tveit in qualifying. So that's the benchmark that we can expect to see. If anyone can break that, that's the fastest lap anybody has done in these minis. And actually, I'm just looking on Live Racers, and he actually went to 192.1 kilometers an hour, which is the fastest top speed of anybody by 1 full kilometer an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's showing how big a difference that draft makes, and how teamwork is vital in that situation. Lauritson's gone pole on a 14.461. But I was just remembering the first qualifying session, who sprung a surprise, and it reminded me of something I should have said earlier, so I apologise. But Ethan Bass, in that first race, which he did a stunning job in qualifying, was actually his 100th Touring Pro Series race. So congratulations to him on his 100th race birthday, and here's to 100 more for the Scotsman, who has been very consistent in the TPS. It's good to see. He always turns up to these leagues and always gives it a right good go, and is showing, as he showed earlier, he can get the results. So yeah, happy 100th race to him. Also, just to quickly mention, Thomas Demlin reached his 100th race at the Porsche Carrera Cup, but as he was in Division 2 he didn't really get noticed, so also to him, well done for 100 races.
Yes, definitely, and we've now got Chris Butcher running wide when he was supposed to be giving a tow to his teammate there, and
very helpful.
No one really lighting it up on fire at this point here. We're not seeing the laps we saw before. We were down 14 flat, 14 ones, 14 twos.
Yeah, 4/10 quicker.
And I mean, it is still early, obviously, but see, and you can attest to this because when you run a full race, you get into race mode. You're running with fuel, you're running with worn tires, and then you have to go straight into a qualifying where you're light and you have quality tires. So you got to adjust yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, it can be hellish at times. You come out of a race and you've either had, a great race and you're absolutely buzzing of adrenaline, you're loving the car you're driving, and then suddenly jump in quali and it feels so loose and ungrippy, and you just feel, overly excited, and it gets the better of you. And you sometimes also feel, well, I've done so well in race 1, I can just relax in race 2, and it doesn't always work as well. And the other situation, on the other end of the scale, if you're a man like Eric Tveit, and you've been leading a race and you've had a disconnection, I remember feeling this at Knock Hill after I was leading at the start and managed to, crash my way and crash Chris Butcher also out of the race, and it affected my qualifying performance so much in race 2. And that's speaking from a driver's perspective. It can be absolutely hellish at times, no matter if you do well or badly. So it really does show drivers, it shows the drivers who can adapt quickly if they can jump straight in a qualifying trim car and go quicker. And it also helps the drivers who've done more practice under quali trim.
Yeah, definitely. Davis here is looking to get a tow off of, I believe, who is that there? I think that's his teammate. Yes. No,
Oh,
it
Ben
is not.
Hackison's gone up to 10th. That's a great drop from him, and he was making his Touring Pro Series debut in this series, and
Very
he'll be
nice.
absolutely delighted jumping into 10th position, provisionally, of course, in this qualifying session.
Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not seeing the purples like we did in the last session, where it was exciting to bounce around and see who we got. Eric Strana and Tveit are back out
Teamwork
again.
coming
So this
again.
is the teamwork coming again. Is he going to give the same toe to Tveit? Are they gonna bank their result on Eric Tveit's terrible connection?
I think Strana needs to obviously focus on his own race, but Tveit will give him a draft after. I think what they want to do is try and get Tveit right up there early on, because he hasn't had a good lap so far. I mean, Tveit's sitting down to 15th in this session. Wiesenmüller's only just jumped up to 5th place, so he's obviously had a difficult first few minutes, and this is, as we were talking about, it's the adaptation period. And you can see at the moment 14.399 is the current pole position time, and that shouldn't be too hard to beat. Nico Schweinzer, I can't really see the names there, has gone into 7th place, and Rasmus Salo's taken provisional pole away from Christmas Butcher.
Christmas
There's a
Butcher.
very festive name. Toby Davis is purple in Sector 1. In 9th position, but we're going to focus on these guys at the moment. Luis Fernandez, the man who turns it on in qualifying, nowhere in race 1, and definitely not for the first time. Probably about the 5th time now he's jumped into qualifying 2 and put it right near the front. Strani backs out the slipstream. Tveit was getting too close to him on that lap, so he's had to let that one go. So see if we can pick up Tveit, who's down. He must be down in near about last now. There he is in 17th. But just before he finishes his lap, Luis Fernandez, one man who always pops up. It always seems to be qualifying 2. Maybe he, spends the whole first race on the qualifying trim just to be ready for qualifying 2. Of course, he probably doesn't do
Rasmus
that,
Salo is pull again on his own time. So Rasmus Salo, Luis Fernandez, Chris Butcher, Eric Strana, Lauritsen. Who is that? Eric Tveit slots into 4th position, so that's teammates close by. Wiesenmüller goes pole. Toby Davis goes 2nd. Rasmus Salo is still purple. Let's get back on with Luis Fernandez, because I believe he was still purple on that. Or no, that's Rasmus Salo, actually, excuse me. So Rasmus Salo going to come across the line. He's got a bit of a toe. Can't improve, or he does improve his time, but it does not put him ahead of the THR drivers. Toby Davis, purple in Sector 1. Eric Strani is now purple in Sector 1 as well. Lauritsen as well. So this is the excitement that we were talking about.
It's kicking off.
Everyone again. It's 2 minutes to go in qualifying. Everyone's comfortable. Everyone's got their dance partner. This is where it starts to get interesting.
Look at all the purples.
Look at the purple. We have 5 people purple, which could potentially be a pole position. But you got to see, we got a few more sectors to go. Strana's now 200ths off. He doesn't quite have a toe for this last bit of this track here. He's got Tveit in his mirror, but that does not help him, because he tries to cross the line to get a better lap. He really needs to have Tveit in front of him to try to steal this pole, because that Wiesenmüller and Davis are working together. They're working real well together. As Tveit and Strani, they just run a little bit wide here. Strani coming across the line. Can he do it? No. He moves up to, improves. He's up to 4th, ahead of Luis Fernandez. Alexander Lauritsen goes pole with a 1:14.175. See, that is exactly how you got to do it, guys. You got to use the draft to the very, very end of the lap, not halfway through, right to the end. Peter Duvelar goes up to 5th position, just ahead of our former championship leader. Robert Wiesenmüller is now purple. Whew, this is the excitement
at least got
factor
drafted
here.
as well.
And now look, Waring's moved up a little bit. Tveit's back in 9th. Allenson's in 10th. Jensen's in 11th. Excitement all around. This is.
Yeah, definitely, and you can see how much the draft was working there. I think it was Wiesenmüller and Davis following each other. Wiesenmüller giving Davis the draft and still managing to jump up to the fastest time, followed by Toby. And it's a THR 1, 2, 3, 4 at the moment. And look at that from Wiesenmüller. Look how far up. But Toby, unfortunately, was caught by surprise by Robert's pace and has had to back out of the slipstream, which means Robert, he's got a couple of tenths on Lauritsen at the moment. And if he had a slipstream through this last sector, I struggle to believe how good a lap this could have been for Robert Wiesenmüller. But look how much the Toad makes a difference.
Exactly.
That's not a good line.
Oh no, actually, they were pulling Butcher along. That's what that was. Butcher was in behind them. Butcher's purple, so Davis pulls Wiesenmüller. Wiesenmüller pulls Butcher, and he doesn't take the pole.
He's got one more lap though.
But he doesn't have a toe. See, and this is where that teamwork comes in. And I mean, again, that right there could have been perfect, because you had Davis pulled Wiesenmüller pulled Butcher, and he just couldn't quite squeeze it out. Tveit is green on for his best sector.
Strand's in the way, unfortunately, there.
Yeah, so I think this is good. We're now at the 0 seconds. Alexander Lauritsen, this could be another surprise pole here with Lauritsen being 700s up on Wiesemuller. I don't think Wiesemuller is going to get another lap, so I think this is where we're going to line up.
Yeah, and as you can see, it's a THR 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's not even including Chris Butcher, who will be our championship leader after that race one. He's all the way down in 7th, which I say all the way down. It's only it's only a 10th or two, but still, it's a
makes a
far way
difference
down.
though because track position is worth so much in cars where you can't make very like aggressive passing. It has to be very methodical.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, if you've lost track position in qualifying and you're starting behind a lot of these guys that you were quicker than. I mean, Butcher was clearly the class of the field the last race, and if he's got to work his way through, as he still remains in 7th position, I think Duivelers does
He's
have
got no help though.
no help, and it's all the difference. You can see as he's still 5th position, does not improve his time. That's going to round up qualifying, and Lauritsen takes the pole.
Yeah, that'll be his first pole position for THR. And, well, actually, I say that. I'm not actually sure how his results were when he previously raced for THR. But, of course, in his reunion with the team after the collapse of the Precision Touring Car division, he's rejoined and he's found his feet very quickly. THR have been very good at welcoming him into the team. And it's clearly working a treat there. He's settling down very nicely because that's a fantastic pole position. And it means we have 2 THR blue cars in the top 4, which means they are the fastest THR outfit in the second qualifying session. But yeah, very fascinating result there, and the teamwork showed off in flying colours there. How much of a difference it makes.
Absolutely. Well, we've just finished qualifying here for the second race of the 3rd round of the Virtual Mini Challenge at Cascavel. We're just going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you shortly.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Okay, we are back live from Cascavel here to start the 4th race of the 3rd round of the Virtual Mini Challenge. I'm actually just filling in here for this round for Scott Woodwiss, joined here with John Munro and our up-and-coming announcer. But we've got some interesting stuff happening here. We've got Lauritsen now on pole for the 2nd race. I mean, what are your predictions for this race coming up?
Well, I think Alex has laid down a marker there. We saw his racecraft was very impressive in race 1, and we know Alex, maybe he was a bit over-ambitious when he started his career here at TouringProSeries, but he's definitely matured as the season's gone on, and found, a very good rhythm with precision, and managed to get the results in, and he's become one of the fastest drivers in the league, and also, well known for his good, clean driving nowadays. So he's up in pole position, and he's got a very good chance of taking his first win since joining THR here, and I think that would probably be his first ever Virtual Mini Challenge win.
Well, I actually just touching on Alexander and its maturity and his maturing. I remember when I think there was when I took a hiatus from all sim racing completely. It was just as we just finished the American Grand Touring Championship, which was a shorter championship run on Race 07 back right after ATCC Season 3. I had started a team and I had collected Alexander Lauritsen, Simon Kilo, and they're very young, very ambitious, and it's amazing for me to see the growth that these guys have come through in their racing just all together. I mean, Alex has become one of the fastest guys in TouringProSeries. He's a real life racer. Same with Simon, and it's amazing for me as I've seen a lot of these guys mature, because I've watched people come and go through TouringProSeries. Guys like yourself, the Richards brothers, You know, Rasmus Salo, Estrani, like all these guys coming up. So it's nice to see. I mean, you can go back and look through any of the history of Touring Pro Series, and you can see where these guys have started and worked their way through. And you can also see results for every single race that we have done as Touring Pro Series, as an organizer. There's no history that can be not found. We have it all listed on our website at TouringProSeries.com. Or sorry, results.touringproseries.com, and you can always find your results, your lap times, your who finished what, who led the most laps. We take pride in making sure that the history that comes along with all of the work that goes into these drivers preparing racing is always going to be available for them to go back and view. It's very important because, I mean, you know, as a driver, you put in all this effort. You want to be able to show off the spoils of what you've done: fastest laps, poles, race wins. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a driver, you know, there's nothing better than after an event, just, you know, you've had a great one and you're just waiting to see the championship standings. Where am I sitting? How am I going? And sorry, I just believe Toby Davis just done a 14-1 in warm-up, which should have done in qualifying, but you know, there we go. Easier said than done, as I know. And yeah, that's a good lap by him, and Callan's also been quick in warm-up. But yeah, you know, GP Cost has been fantastic for the Touring Pro Series, and you can, as Keith said, head over there to see all results, and also the YouTube channel to see all former broadcasts where you can see
every broadcast. We haven't
crashes.
actually taken the time to add up the hours of broadcasting we've done.
Oh, we definitely should.
It's quite. I would actually put a challenge out to somebody to go through and add up every minute and every hour of the Touring Pro Series YouTube videos. I'm very curious to know how many hours, actually how many days of broadcasting we have done, and we've done this. We've done this all because it's a labor of love that we have for this craziness called sim racing. So the challenge is thrown out there. If anybody would like to take that up, go to our YouTube channel, go through every video we've ever posted, add up the minutes, and if they could give us a number, we would love to publish it, and we will gladly give you credit for doing so. But besides that, we actually have some real racing happening here now. We have the pole sitter, Alexander Lauritsen. So taking a pole position, I can't remember his last pole. I'd have to quickly go through the statistics here, but I do know that Alex is not a stranger to the pole position. But again, THR working very well together and taking the top 4 positions. THR Blue on pole, THR Red in second with Robert Wiesemuller. Toby Davis and THR Yellow in third, followed by Rasmus Salo in fourth, Peter Duevelar in fifth position, Eric Strane in sixth, Chris Butcher in the other THR Red in seventh, Eric Tveit in eighth, followed by Luis Fernandez. Again, we said it just sneaks up there. Miguel Nato had a great finish, getting a top 3 finish in the last race in 10th position, followed by Dan Allenson, who has squeaked his way up the grid a little bit more this time. Ryan Callan will be more pleased to be closer to the front, followed by Thomas Jensen, Nico Schweitzer,
lovely livery as well.
Andrew Waring in 15th, and I'll let you call the last few.
Yep, so we have Xavier Di Carvalho starting in 16th for Mad Cape, Ben Hackison for Smile Power in 17th, Rhys Gardner, his teammate, starting 18th, Ockercliffe down in 19th, and Amaral rounds out the top 20. Then towards the back of the grid we have Ethan Bass in his 101st race. You never know, you know, just adding that one could suddenly make him, you know, win this race and be unbelievably quick. We'll see. Shell Stenbeck is starting 22nd for Optimus Sim Racing, with Duarte Lopez in 23rd, Arichus Razvan for Walk in 24th, and the back 2 rows we have Jimmy Hughes in 25th, and at the back of the field Matt Richards, number 4 Airstream car in 26th, ahead of Kostas Kaloudis. And yeah, I mean the amount of broadcasting this channel has done, as you were saying earlier. I mean, I only started in last season's Virtual Mini Challenge, and I feel like I've been doing it, you know, for years, and it's absolutely fantastic. And we're about to see, you know, a great example of a fantastic race coming up for you right now.
Well, we have now have the start of this second race of the third round. I'm sorry, I'm all mixed up, but I guess it's just I'm excited to see some more racing as we're going to hop on board with Alexander Lauritsen so we can see the lights go on and off to start this race. They got a long run, just a little touch uphill and then a little bit downhill. So these guys are going to have to line up as we see the red lights are going on. They're about to go out and we're about to go. Green, 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 green. Alexander Lauritsen gets away cleanly as it's THR 1, 2, 3. Toby Davis is trying to squeeze by Wiesemuller. I don't know if he's going to quite do it into turn 1. As Alexander Lortzen squeezes down and Toby Davis squeezes into second place ahead of Wiesemuller. Very tight. Wiesemuller not giving him a though.
Contact between Duivelar and Salo.
Sideways. Duivelar, is he going to hold on to that now? That's the question.
Oh, he's dropped way back. Sorry, that wasn't Duivelar. It was Callan having a similar incident further back in the same car. My apologies.
Oh,
that's
what
an
a
ambitious move.
Oh, he's going to go wide, but look, he's going to slot
back
down the inside. Strani's going to cut back and take that position away as we see the THR guys battling hard up in the foreground here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone went off in the background. I'll take a quick look in just a second. But it is THR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the moment. Butcher with a stunning start to make it up to 5th position. And I do want to see what happened back there, but I'll not go away from the action. I'll just see if anyone's had any problems. It might have been Rhys Gardner, because it's showing him down in 27th position, so it might have been him that had the issue. Had a bit of an incident there heading into turn 3, I believe. But side by side for the lead now, Toby Davis and Robert Wiesemuller. Wiesemuller on the inside, Davis on the outside. Manages to hold on to the lead there, does Wiesemuller. Davis is looking racy though, he's pushed onto the anti-cut, he really didn't have a choice there, went for the outside line. There's also racing going on right behind them, but we've got to stay on this lead one here, because it looks like Salo is pushing Wiesemuller past Davis as they go into turn 1, and they all concertina right into the same point. Make sure they get their lines nice through here. You need to keep the car as straight as possible and smooth as possible. That's going to force Wiesemuller out a bit wide, but does well to keep it inbound. Oh, is that Tveit going off? He shouldn't lose too much time, but it won't help his mood after race 1 very much at all.
Well, at least he didn't disconnect.
Yeah, I'd rather do that than disconnect on Wiesemuller's car doing a bit of dancing there due to the lag. But yeah, that's a fantastic start from THR. Lauritsen all the way down to 5th already. He's just been shuffled back and now down to 6th. Though it was a THR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's now a THR 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And nobody manages to get back past Eric Stranis, so keeps the formation flying out front, and a stunning start from the outfit.
Oh, this is great stuff. As you can see, everyone's very tight now because it is the start of the race, as you've got Alexander Lauritsen, who was our pole sitter, is back in 7th position, being passed here. He's struggling to get his footing here at the start of this race. Lauritsen back to 7th. Davis leading this race, followed by Salo, Wiesemuller, and Butcher. So we are now on to the 3rd lap of this race. As you can see, some heavy battling up here. Lauritsen is on the outside and getting past. It looks to me like, Alexander Lauritsen is trying to get by Duivelar. Not sure if he's going to quite make it. Duivelar is holding the outside very true and very strong. Dan Allenson is into the pits. I'm going to quickly hop up on board with our race leader, Toby Davis, as we got a little bit of contact there. Rasmus Salo going wide. Chris Butcher going wide. Salo squeezing. Oh, that's very, very tough there. Rasmus Salo squeezing down on the nose of Eric Strani, not giving him the racing room that he had earned. Rasmus Salo is the 4th man in this train of THR drivers, as Strani is the one guy challenging the man in 3rd position for championship. The championship fight here, as these guys are all coming around. Great shot, as you can see them lining as all line astern. Now Rasmus Salo in 4th. Let's hop on board. Let's see what kind of pressure he's facing at the moment, because he's got Eric Strani all over the back of him, just trying to find a way by so he can get closer to Chris Butcher, possibly make up some points that he lost in the first round. He's got a great run here on Rasmus as he looks down to the inside into turn 1. Eric Strani trying to get by Rasmus Salo. He's caught. There's going to be contact. There's contact. Just touches the back of him. Salo moves down on the inside of him. Eric Strani had an overlap. Makes the move. But now Salo's crossing back over. Salo trying to make the move. There's going to be a little bit of bad blood between these guys for the past few laps. And Strani has completed the move. Book it. He is up to 4th position. Eric Tveit now on the back. Oh, contact! There's double contact. Tveit into the back of Salo. Salo into the back of Strani. Strani gets the worst of it. Back to 5th. Eric Tveit is now up to 4th position.
Yeah, and that was somehow managed to keep it all clean there. Such a big gaggle of cars, as you can see. There's Aerostream, Ice Cold, EKT Portugal, THR, everything going on there. It looks like some changes for position right at the front as well, but look at this, just bumping their way around. And oh, we've got two different trains going on there, but it's just showing, you know, how close is these minis. Just look at this. How many cars are there? There's about 9 cars within the space of one mini.
8 cars in a 1 mini space.
Don't know how that's possible.
I don't know. Game day bucket goes boom. We've got Rasmus Salo now is back into 9th position as he's getting past again. Oh, and It was Andrew Waring's up on 2 wheels as he goes by Rasmus Salo. They get caught.
Oh, no!
Oh, Salo gets into the back of Waring. Waring is almost, he hangs on to
Somehow.
that. I want to have a look at that one more time from a different vantage point, because it looks to me like he gets down the inside. Now, Salo gets into the back of NATO, which pushes him over. And I think this gets Waring up on 2 wheels. And what a shot that is. As you can see, he gets down the inside, a little bit of contact, and he's up on 2 wheels as he comes to the corner. He gets a little bit side contact, and then Salo comes back onto the track and gets to the back of Waring. A little cheeky there.
I don't think Salo meant. I think
Salo was just trying to get back on track because he'd gone quite a ways off. It's down the inside. It's Eric Tveit by Peter Duivelar. What a late move and a very robust move, and Eric Tveit moves up to 5th position.
Tveit sideways though. He's going to lose time on the exit, but fortunately for him, by losing time, he managed to back up the guys behind him and didn't manage to get overtaken there. It looks like NATO's going down the inside of Lauritsen. But yeah, Waring continuing the Airstream run of form. When I say form, I mean going up on 2 wheels, because Matt Richards did it very impressively in the VCC. So it's, they're keeping up their run going, but they don't, maybe not a record they would like to have. But yeah, it's stunning racing going on here for the back end of the top 5. Just to quickly recap what's happened so far. Toby Davis leads by 1.3 seconds from the squabbling red THR cars of Chris Butcher and Robert Wiesenmuller, and you cannot separate these guys whatsoever. Butcher current championship leader, Wiesenmuller reigning champion, running his teammates. It's great to see the synchronization between the two of them.
Here's something to think about. Toby Davis is pulling away from these two. He's a 1.3 seconds ahead of his THR red teammates. So that is a fantastic feat, considering how much time we've seen you make by being in a draft. So Davis clearly having the pace, maybe just not being ready in the first race.
Yeah, and I think Davis actually going into this season, by the expert panel of judges, he was predicted to be, I believe he was actually favourite for the championship, and yeah, the expert panel didn't really get it too right so far, because Davis has struggled. I think the reason they picked him, I say they, I mean we, as in I was member of that panel, and I predicted Toby to be my champion simply because of the form he had at the end of last season, taking the win at Sebring. But yeah, he just seemed to drop it at the start of this season and made a few mistakes at Curitiba, I think it was. And yeah, he's just not been quite on the form I would expect from Toby Davis. But this is trying to prove us wrong here. Now there's someone dropping back. It's Eric Strani. It's the man who was their championship leader before, lost loads of positions there, and look at him dropping back.
Let's see what happened here. As he was in 4th to start this lap, he must have just gone wide.
Lag, actually. We'll wait and see.
Let's see.
I'm curious. It might have just been lag, or was
it
a big mistake?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Because he's still in 4th position.
Yeah.
It might have just caught a little something there. But Eric Strani still in 4th position, a very strong 4th, followed by his teammate Eric Tveit in 5th. Peter Duivelar is fighting hard in 6th position. As you look back, you just see this train of cars. It's just fantastic. Alexander Lauritsen, who was our pole sitter, is back in 7th position, fighting off Miguel Nato, who's hard charging. A little ways back is Andrew Waring, trying to go in one direction, getting forward. Rasmus Salo in 10th, followed by Ryan Callan. A little better result for him. And these guys, is he going to squeeze through? Oh, Waring not quite. Oh, contact
just about
between Callan
managed to
and
keep
Waring.
it facing the one direction that he wants to be facing.
Yeah, you got to be facing forward. And for just behind him, for the top 12, is going to be Luis Fernandez. I'm going to give a quick shout to the rest of these guys here. Xavier De Carvalho is in 13th, followed by Ocker Clinton 14th. Nico Schweitzer is in 15th, followed by the Madcape team driver of Jimmy Hughes, Ben Hackison in 17th, Pedro Amaral in 18th, Thomas Jensen in 19th, Kostas Kaludis in 20th, Shel Stenbeck in 21st, Duarte Lopez 22nd, Dan Allenson in 23rd, and our retirees are Ethan Bass, Adarich Razvan, Mad Richards, and Reese Gardner, unfortunately. Unfortunately for Reese, I know if you're watching this back, I really feel for you. I know when he gets stuck in those ruts where it just seems like nothing you do is working. You just got to see it through, man. There is light at the end of the tunnel, so keep pushing and keep racing, man. But back at the front here, Toby Davis, Chris Butcher, and Wiesenmuller have a stranglehold on this race. This is the battle here that we can see intensify at any moment because, well, we've seen some fireworks already, John.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we're going to see many more, maybe past Halloween, but Christmas is coming up, so there are going to be some major fireworks coming up here.
Well, speaking of
especially with the amount of teams you've got.
Well, we've got Christmas Butcher running in 2nd.
course. And, yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I think it was Dweevetson. I'm not sure where Dweevetson's
Yes,
running.
there's
Oh, they're running
Dweevetson.
6th and 7th. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Dweevetson. But Strana is now slowly edging towards Wiesemuller, but I don't know if it's enough because of the type of track this is, and because of the time, the very small amounts of time he can make up. And the fact that he's on his own is just it's not gonna work out for him to close in unless those two start battling, and you can't expect to see that.
Yeah, of course, and Otavite ran wide actually, but manages to get a nice run out. It looked like he was just running wide there, and he was on the exit, but very strange lines from Otavite there. I thought for a second, oh, he's just got a great exit, that's what he wants to do, and then he goes and runs on the gravel. But I do believe there is some lag, and do not tell me he's going to disconnect, because I don't know about you, Keith, but I'm starting to see a bit of lag there on the side. Just looking at that Save the Ring ice cold car. A lovely thing to have on the side, by the way. Try and save the Nürburgring, of course. That's what they're you could say charity they're running for, with the big STR logo on the side. But I'm hoping that Tveit does not have another disconnection, because that would be heartbreaking for him. And heartbreaking for the team, and it would probably really hurt his morale, because he's been doing so well in testing, and to do so many laps, you know, you see drivers doing hundreds of laps before races to prepare, and to see him disconnecting so many occasions is really heartbreaking. I'm just noticing Butcher's closed in a lot on Toby Davis, and we were saying Toby was running away with it. THR Red have said not so fast. I think, you know, Chris is wanting to show that THR Red is the best THR team after the two of them seem to be having an argument over. Danny was telling us about how in the Virtual Carrera Cup, the two of them were having a bit of an argument over which colour to run with, and they ended up going with yellow. So maybe Butcher he's got the red mist down, and he's looking for a bit of revenge over the yellow car.
Yeah, this is you're going to see he's going to battle, because you know that Butcher is in this for a championship. I don't know if they'll probably be communicating with each other. But Davis does not like giving away race wins, and he's going to make him earn it, I believe, because Toby Davis has rightfully earned his spot at the front here. But we can clearly see the Butcher has more pace at this point, because Davis's lap times have dropped by 4 full tenths a lap. So Butcher is clearly able to maintain those lap times, as unlike Davis, who was laying them down early. Butcher now all over the back of Toby Davis. As Davis has gone defensive, so just as I said, Butcher's not going to want to give away. He's not going to want to give away a race win, but Butchers knows how to get by. These two have battled hard before. We've also seen them get into a little bit of contact in the past in battles such as this, even as teammates. So this will prove interesting as the race goes on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously they're very good friends off track, and of course team owners together of THR. But when you put any sim racer, especially these two together on track, we're going to expect some stunning racing. Chris, we know how quick he is, we know how good he is at overtaking, and he can be very aggressive, in a good way, very regularly. So he can be, making moves here and there, every single corner. He'll be looking for an opportunity. And also, Toby is a TPS champion, multiple race winner, one of the most successful drivers in the Touring Pro Series, and he also knows a little bit, one or two things about defending.
He knows a thing or two about a thing or two. That's
I've been on the end of it. I know he can defend. Let's say that.
That's actually one thing I have not I don't think I've actually raced with Toby Davis.
You've always been ahead of him, Keith.
No, I actually haven't raced in quite a long time, and I do intend on having a comeback to racing once Assetto Corsa multiplayer is released, probably in the spring championships. I'm hoping, anyways. We'll see. Maybe I should just leave them retired and just keep exercising my voice.
Yeah, so you can see how close these guys are now. Back to the racing that we have going on at the moment. And
Contact!
Was that Salo or Lauritsen? I believe it was Lauritsen getting into Strana. Salo's nowhere to be seen in this race. I'm sorry if he's down in 11th actually. So yeah, it was Eric Tveit and Lauritsen getting into each other there.
Yeah, I think Lauritsen got into the inside.
We can take a quick replay just to see what happened.
Oh no, it was Salo that got into the back of him that sent him wide. Or was that Salo? Yeah.
No, I think it was Lauritsen. I do think, Lauritsen 48, I believe. Yeah, it was Lauritsen.
That was Lauritsen. My mistake. Sorry, they were both THR blue, right?
Yep.
So yeah, that was why it was the confusion there. But Duvalar was trying to take advantage of it, couldn't quite squeeze his way through. Tveit and Strani now, they're actually closing again.
I was just noticing that as well.
On Wiesemuller, and they're not closing fast enough that they can do something about it. But now that Davis is holding up Butcher, Wiesemuller has the toe of those two drivers, which will make it difficult for Tveit and Strachan to close on the back of Wiesemuller as he's 0.6. Let's see what they look like as they cross the line here. Let's see, so it's a 0.5 to a 2.7. So they closed 1/10 of a second in that final sector. As down the inside goes Peter Duivelar on the inside of Lauritsen. Book it. Duivelar is through up to P6 on Alexander Lauritsen.
Yeah, Duivelar's been, the image of consistency this season. He hasn't been, overly quick. He is, of course, champion from 2 seasons ago. And, a double champion in the Touring Pro Series. So definitely up there with the most successful guys, in the whole league. And he's slightly underperformed in terms of he hasn't been winning, races this season. But he's shown he's obviously not lost much talent whatsoever, because he's still been running consistently high up there in the results. But he's under pressure from another man who's been showing his talent and race credentials recently, Alexander Lauritsen. And Duivelar, of course, doesn't have the team backup like the THR boys do. They'll maybe have 4 or 5, in the top 6, or sometimes even the top 5 are just THR, like we saw at the start of this race. Whereas Duivelar's highest up teammate is Ryan, and although Ryan was
Butcher
very quick
is leading. Butcher is leading. I apologize, but Butcher is leading. Let's see if we can catch that pass on Toby Davis, and let's see if it was team orders or if it was a well-executed pass. It's a little ways back.
It's a long way back. I think a lap ago.
Oh, geez, I think... Oh, we're going to get it, though. We are going to get it. We're going to get to see this. Oh, and defensive driving.
That's the largest replay in Touring Pro Series
history. That's the longest replay we've ever seen in Touring Pro Series history. As he gets a run off the end, he's getting squeezed right down to the inside by Davis. Butcher's clearly alongside into turn 1. Butcher gets to the inside. Not robust, just a little touch of contact there, nice and clean, as he squeezes him right to the outside of the track to say, hey, look, I'm through. Back off, get your own sandwich, as Butcher takes the lead for the second race here and is now pulling away from his teammate Toby Davis.
Yep, and look how close these guys are. Another guy's actually, we're going to stay with this, and if Robert's going to make a move, he has a look, there's a bit of contact between the two. Robert's got the inside line, one of them's going to spin here maybe. And no, they managed to hold it. Sorry, for a second there I thought it was turn 2 and it was the fastest, most difficult corner on the track, but managed to hold it on there. And saved me worrying there. And something's happened back here, and this is what's happened. The 4-car train has seemed to
look at it. Lauritsen's lost of NATO has now showed his length. NATO seems to have good pace over the course of a race. He's more consistent than it seems the guys just ahead of him, because he's there like he was in the last race, taking a third. So if he could just keep pushing here, he could potentially take another top 5 here. As Duivelar looks to the outside of Tveit down into turn 1. Tveit goes defensive. Down to the inside looks NATO. NATO couldn't quite get there. NATO's going to try to take advantage of these two guys battling here. NATO's sitting in 7th, looking to squeeze by. This would put him in top 5 if he could get by the 2 of these drivers here. And Duivelar looking to get down the inside of Tveit. Not going to happen. Tveit's pace has slowed quite a bit, which is allowing Duivelar to look around the outside. He's going to try the crossover. Down to the inside, he's got the crossover. He's got overlap. Is he going to hold him there? He's got the inside for the next corner. Tveit on the outside. Duivelar to the inside. Duivelar goes through.
Tveit now has the inside for the hairpin, though.
Oh, he's got the inside, but Duivelar's got some overlap on the outside. Duivelar holds the outside. Still holding. Tveit giving him room, pushing him a little bit wide. Oh, this is fantastic. Duivelar still to the outside. Tveit to the inside. Duivelar not going to do it. Still side by side. NATO's choosing to go with Peter. Peter's got a push from NATO. Down the outside. He's not going to do it. As Duivelar tries many laps, many corners there, and couldn't quite get the pass done.
Yeah, and you can see on board there with Duivelar's walk racing car just how close these guys have been. And I swear they were side by side for about 4 corners there, which, okay, you do see that quite commonly in the minis, but it's stunning to see, especially with 2 of the best drivers the Touring Pro Series has to offer, and great clean racing by them.
Oh, down the inside, Lauritsen
down the inside! And is he going to make the move? No, it's a good defensive driving from NATO, gets the drive out of the corner, and holds on to 7th position. Duivelar still in 6th, Eric Tveit holding on to his top 5, and he will not be wanting to let anything slip through his hands here, Tveit, because of course he has nothing to lose. His connection's been such a killer, he just needs to have a good race and get to the finish, and Duivelar's running really wide there. He's going to get a good exit, but it means these guys are going to be side by side again, and we're going to have almost 4 wide. That's normal. And Dweevelar's actually been passed by NATO. NATO looks to the outside of Tveit. Tveit blocks NATO. Dweevelar is now on the inside. It's chopping and changing every inch. Dweevelar down the inside of NATO makes a bit of contact with Tveit. Now Lauritsen's getting in on the act. Lauritsen almost spins, manages to hold it. And it's Tveit, Dweevelar, NATO, Lauritsen, and Andrew Waring just joins in just to make it a bit more fun.
This is a little bit, it makes my head spin a little bit how crazy this racing is right now. It's fantastic. Now I just wanted to point out too, Michael Gillespie went ahead and did that count for us, and we have produced 145 hours of live broadcasting over our career, which totals 6
well done, Michael Gillespie,
6 full days. 6 full days of sim racing action can be found on youtube.com/TouringProSeries.
Yeah, thank you very much to Michael for that, because even though I said I would, I probably would never have stuck to my promise. And Tveit's run wide onto the grass, doing a bit of grass cutting there for the Brazilian workers, and manages to rejoin behind. He's lost a few positions behind Lauritsen now. It gives Lauritsen a bit of a nudge. Lauritsen sideways, and manages to hold it. Nice save by Lauritsen. And Tveit won't be happy with that. He's now down to 7th position, just by a little bit, running wide on the exit of turn 1, which is easy to do, but it's going to cost you positions.
That's we've seen some good battling between these guys, but right now we did also lose Jonathan Aukerklint and also Dan Allenson as well too.
NATO's out of the
NATO's
race as well.
DNF.
See if we can have a look at what happened to him.
Get on board with his car and hop to the replay if you can. Pull it back. Let's see. Oh dear.
This is the incident I was talking about. Comes through the almost flat out kick, just loses the back end, and this is exactly what I was saying. Good night, Irene, up the hill and into the motorhome.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So under braking because it's a transition spot.
Yep.
That is really tough. Really tough for NATO after getting a top 3 finish in the first race, ending up with a DNF.
Yeah, it's a real shame, but we have to focus back on the front. There's loads of retirements in this race actually, but keep an eye on these guys because there's only 6 tenths covering the first 3 cars over the last split. We also need to keep an eye on the battle going on behind because it's now Dweevelar versus Lauritsen and Tveit versus Andrew Waring, so there's very intriguing battles going on. It's looking like who's going to be best of the rest outside of THR at the moment, and it's walk racing. Well, actually, no, sorry, it's ice cold with Eric Strane, who's managed to gap these guys, and then behind them it is the walk racing car of Peter Dweevelar. That is the best of the rest at the current moment. But just look how good the racing is out front here. Clean, exciting racing between teammates, showing how it's done.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to see any surprising moves here, just because there is a championship at stake. These guys do know how to work. As you can see in the back, Strawn is trying to use the draft of a guy who's coming up to lap there. But Wiesemuller will definitely want to be getting by Davis because he's in a better spot championship-wise. But as we saw, Davis is not going to make it easy, as we saw the move that Butcher had to make on his teammate and team co-founder as well.
Yeah, I don't think Davis ever makes it easy for anybody, which is why he's such a good sim racer and so well respected within the community. And he's showing why he is right now. You know, running 2nd place. He looked like he was on course for the win earlier, but the THR red guys seemed to link up very well together and managed to drag their way up to the leader of Toby Davis and make it into a 3-car battle, so at least it's created a more exciting race for the lead. But at the moment, Butcher's on his way to make it 3 out of 3 double winners for the season, and he's on his way for his 4th victory in 6 races. Of course, Eric Strana taking the other 2 at Jacques Rapagua, Chris taking his double win at Curitiba in round 1, and looking likely to take a double win here, but of course we still have a lap and a few corners to go, and it's not exactly over, as you can see now. You know, we'll just go on the back view from Chris Butcher, so that's the wrong camera. Just we see over the back of Chris Butcher, and that is the gap he's got to maintain for the next lap and through this final corner if he wants to win this race, and I think he can do it, Keith.
Well, look, I'm just pointing at. I just want to point out. Look at how strategic Toby is in his placement of his car. Didn't go all the way defensive, but look, see, this is cost him by being that defensive into that final corner. It has allowed Robert Wiesemuller to get the overlap, and Wiesemuller down to the inside into turn 1 on the final lap, trying to take away 2nd position from Toby Davis. Contact. Wiesemuller has gone through. Book it. Wiesemuller final lap pass to get into 2nd position and put THR red 1-2. Davis, though, not going to take this lightly. Down to the inside, looks, thinks better of it. Wiesemuller now has to try to defend off Toby Davis, as Davis was defensive on the penultimate lap, trying to hold off Wiesemuller. It ended up costing him the run down the start-finish line straight.
That was pretty extreme tactical decision there by Chris Butcher. I'm not sure if anyone else picked up on that, but I did notice he moved to the left-hand side to give his teammate Robert Wiesenmuller the draft over his other teammate Toby Davis, which meant they went side by side into turn 1, which helped increase the gap. And I think that's what was going through Chris's mind. You know, tow his teammate down the inside, let those guys battle. And Andrew Waring's out of the race with an accident. Unfortunately, we can't go to a replay because we don't have enough time in the race, but we will have a look back after it. As these guys are just coming to cross the line right now, and we do have to focus on that. But
well, yeah,
really,
that's unfortunate. Waring's had a good race weekend so far, but Chris Butcher coming across the line, not getting the pole position.
oh,
but
look at the ball for second.
Davis real wide as they come across the line. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Wiesenmuller, but Chris Butcher taking his second race win in this third round here at Cascavel, but followed by Robert Wiesenmuller, Toby Davis, Eric Strana, Peter Devilar, Alexander Lawrenson, Eric Tveit in 7th, Ryan Callan getting up to 8th position. I'll be happy with that. Rasmus Salo in 9th, Luis Fernandez in 10th, Xavier De Cavallo in 11th, Jimmy Hughes in 12th, Nico Schweitzer in 13th, Thomas Jensen in 14th, 15th is Pedro Amaral, 16th is Shel Stenbeck, Duarte Lopez coming in 17th, 18th position. We'll wait to see who crosses the line. And this has been some fantastic racing, but Chris Butcher is the man of the hour here. I mean, there's really not much more that could be said. He just did full-on domination race pace-wise.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, only 17 finishers there. Yeah, I was just trying to get a replay from onboard Andrew Waring, but it didn't look like I was getting one, or I was on the wrong car. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but unfortunately, we couldn't get a replay of Waring's incident. But that rounds off the field with the top 17 there, and a stunning race too, especially by THR Red and Chris Butcher.
Well, we're going to be right back with the driver interviews. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Okay, hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are here just finishing up the third round of the virtual mini challenge at Cascavel. We ended up seeing a double win from Chris Butcher, who is a championship hopeful, definitely going to be holding on to that, well, now taking a commanding championship lead. I'm joined by Chris here now. Chris, just give us, race one was pretty interesting. Obviously, the disconnect from Eric Tveit was untimely, but you seem to have your car in order race pace wise.
Yeah, that's what I focused on coming up to this event, because when I actually saw Cascavel on the schedule before the season started, I really wasn't looking forward to it, because it's been a bit of a bogey track for me with the monitor cables and what have you. And generally last season I wasn't actually that quick either, so I've put a lot of effort in and concentrated on race pace. And I need to thank Alex as well, actually, because he's given us some decent tyre pressures to work with, and I think that contributed a little bit, because I suffered a little bit at round 2. But yeah, ecstatic with the result.
Well, I mean, race one, you managed to, well, it was great fighting with Tveit in the mix of it, but you ended up gapping away from Robert. Was it just you just felt you kept the car together a little better, or what do you think contested to that?
I think I had slightly better race pace than Robert, but with these cars in the slipstream, you've got more grip with them producing lift at the front.
Yeah.
So that helped him keep up, and the gap pretty much stayed the same. But then he made a slight mistake and just dropped out of the slipstream, and then that was it really.
Now, okay, race 2. Obviously, you took the race win, but clearly, as I would expect, Toby was not giving you anything. Talk us through what your plan was to get by him.
Well, actually, to be honest with you, I didn't plan on overtaking him as early as I did. I knew he was going to fight hard, and I didn't want that to drop us back towards Strand. So I was just going to stay behind him, and there was a few opportunities that I had to pass him actually when he had a poor run out of the final turn, but I decided to stay behind him. But yeah, the plan was basically just to wait for a mistake and get a good run down the straight, because I know Toby fights hard and he likes to slow down on the apex, and he doesn't give any room at all. But yeah, he made a mistake, and I thought, well, I've got to go for that now, because you've got a poor run out of the final turn. But Toby will be Toby, and he squeezed me right to the pit wall.
Of course, yeah, it made for a good. You'll be able to see it on the replay of the broadcast. But it was a great move. Good racing by you guys, and congratulations to THR Red for a dominant performance here. Now, John, I believe you've got Robert Wiesemuller you'd like to have a word with.
Yes, I do. Robert, of course, you took the double win here last season. Didn't quite manage it this season, of course, with Chris's pace. So just talk us through your event, because you looked quick, but didn't quite have the pace to match Chris there.
Yeah, I think the event was really good for me. Last event at what was the track, Jacare Paglia, I didn't have the pace at all there, so I was happy to be back with back at the lead here, fighting with the big guys, and yeah, it just didn't work out in the first race. I was in the slipstream of Chris, and in the beginning I wasn't attacking him. I tried to attack him at the end of the race, but then I made a little mistake, and I was out of the slipstream, and then he got the win. And I had no chance. When I had more slipstream, he was definitely faster than me.
And of course, you're going to drop quite a few points to Chris in the championship now. You're going to be quite a long way behind. Do you still think the championship's on? You're still looking for 2 in a row, or do you think it's out of your reach now?
Well, I think the gap is only 1 monitor cable, so it's still very possible. But to be honest, Chris has been better than me on every track so far this season. So yeah, he deserves to be in the lead. And if he has a good chance in the last race, and I'm still that far back, then I will help him, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And just one other thing, Robert, just for a bit of THR insight. When you guys were battling there, it was you and Chris and Toby also. Were you and Chris working as a team as in THR Red against THR Yellow, or were you all just working as complete equals?
Well, I let Chris through first in the second race, because I didn't have good pace and I was dropping back to Toby, so I hoped that he could close the gap. But when we were driving there all together, no one was working together. We all made sure that we don't take each other out, but everyone wanted to win. And that's also why I passed Toby, for example, on the second to last lap. So no team orders there.
Yeah. Well done to you, Robert, on a good result.
Thanks.
Unfortunately, didn't take a win, but still good points for you and the team, of course. And I believe Keith is now going to take our former championship leader, Eric Strana.
Yes, Eric, you showed some pace today. I just have one question, right off the top of my head. In qualifying in the first round, you were able to manage to pull Eric to a fantastic lap, the fastest lap we've seen at Cascavel. Was it just not able to get to duplicate his lap, or was it just a timing thing? Talk us through what happened in qualifying there.
Bit of both. I mean, the plan was for him to be in front, me to be behind, so it ended up with the wrong Eric up front. But I just couldn't get a good lap in, and that was that. Started 5th or whatever. Then yeah, things went off from there.
Well, I mean, you kind of had an up and down race. You got some solid results. There's no doubt about that. But are you pleased with your outcome here, or were you expecting better?
Well, expecting better, obviously. I mean, when you're the championship leader going into something like this, you're expecting to do well. And this was a massive disappointment from my point of view, at least. But I mean, when you get taken out that brutally, then there's no way you can be happy about that. I'm massively disappointed.
Well, just all you can do is just look towards the next race.
I know.
It's a fairly long championship. You've done amazing so far this season, so keep up the good work. John, I think you got Peter Duevalar for an interview as well.
Yeah, Peter. So once again, showed your consistency throughout the race. Didn't quite have the outright pace to take the wins today. But how was your event? Because you looked good and consistent out there.
Well, actually, yeah, the consistency was good, but I'm not happy at all with the results at the end. I had high hopes for this race, especially after the first two races. My points difference to Chris and Eric was quite big, so I hoped for some good results here today. So I would still be in the fight for the title. Just wasn't to be today. Wasn't lucky in the battles. Made some small mistakes, and in the end, it's solid results, but not what I had hoped for.
And do you think it was just a track-specific thing, or do you think you'll have, do you think this was the kind of pace you're going to have for the rest of the season, or did you just struggle with this track, and how are your hopes for getting wins later on the season?
Well, for each event, I intend to fight for the win, and yeah, this track was new for me. It was the first time I drove at Cascavel, so especially in the race, I had to struggle to adjust to race pace. Yeah, I hope for the coming events that I can get some better results in. I still want to fight for the title, although it's going to be really, really difficult to now.
Yeah, well, of course, it's not an impossible task because in TPS anything can happen. So well done, Peter, of course, our champion from 2012 for walk racing. Great job by him. And I believe, Keith's wanting me to take Toby Davis, so I will talk to Toby Davis. So, Toby, you, of course, looked like you were on track for a victory there in race 2. So how did that go for you? Because, the other guys just seemed to have a little bit more pace in the end.
Yeah, they're just better than me in these cars. It's flat out the simple way of putting it.
So much better than you.
Yeah, there's just got a tenth or so on me at every track, and I'm pretty good, but that tenth or two can make the difference, particularly when they have to push 95% to get the same lap times as me when I'm pushing 110. So I'm more likely to make a small mistake. So it is what it is. Third place is very good. Don't get me wrong, but. Yeah, the two guys in front of me, RW and Chris, they're very, very quick drivers, and it's great to have them have them on board at THR, particularly as part of the management staff. So I'm very, very proud of them, to be honest.
And of course, now you've got an Alexander Lauritsen as a new driver. How's it been to work with him so far?
Yeah, good, not bad at all. He's contributed to the setup in this league, which doesn't sound like it's it's not going to change the world. It's only a few little tweaks, but. He's got some interesting ideas, and he's prepared to help the team out as well, which is great. So hopefully he'll stick around and won't float off to another team at some point, but it's great to have him on board. And it's actually the second time he's been part of THR, and hopefully this time's a lot more successful.
Of course, so well done to you, and of course your team picked up some great results this week, so well done for that. And
Cheers.
I believe that's going to round up the driver interviews, so Keith, if you'd like to round up.
Well, it was some good racing today. We saw obviously some great mini action. These cars are always close, always great to watch. We also did find out something very, very important to know. Michael Gillespie had went onto our YouTube page and found out that we have in fact broadcasted 145 hours of sim racing content. We did the math and it works out to like just something over 6 full days. So if you find yourself at home and you're not feeling well and you've got to recover for 6 full days, stay up for 6 days and watch every broadcast back that we've ever done. But to find out where you can watch all of this, you can see right on the screen now. I know it is the wrong page there for the wrong series, but it gives you the information to the links of all of our content that we have: youtube.com/TouringProSeries, twitter.com/touring_pro, facebook.com/TouringProSeries, to keep up to date with all of what we have going on. The next event we have will be the Virtual Super Tech Series coming live this Saturday, followed by the Virtual Touring Masters, which would be on that Wednesday of the next week. Followed by that will be the Virtual Carrera Cup, which is a week Saturday. So do not miss any of it. If you missed this, if you just caught the end of it, we will have the broadcast up live for you on our YouTube page as soon as it will encode. So John, it was great to be here with you. I won't maybe with you again one time throughout the season, but great job today, and we'll say goodbye to everybody now.
Yep, goodbye everyone. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next round for round 4 of the Virtual Mini Challenge 2014.
Till next time.